Alright, Amogus. Alright, here we go. Teleport? Shit. Yes! Jade Chamber has a fucking teleport and we can actually go here now. Epic! Finally! Can I explore without being forced to do some dumb shit? Womp.
Wow! Everyone's already seated! It's Paimon's first time attending a banquet in the Jade Chamber. The food here looks amazing.
All of you here are my distinguished guests. I am determined that each of you thoroughly enjoys yourself. Those who don't drink alcohol, please, help yourself to other beverages. Fine wine is a delight to the senses, but it is far from the only one. I trust you will find the marvelous view from the Jade Chamber to be an equally gratifying indulgence.
Have you heard? Miss Yun's going to be performing today.
Sure have. Honestly, it's the main reason I'm here. I've never missed any of Miss Yun's performances, and I don't intend to start now. I hear she's going to perform The Divine Damsel of Devastation today, the one written by her father. I've been so excited that I've barely slept the last few nights.
Hey, look! Miss Yun is going on stage!
这里本该接近尾声，但今日我再添一笔，唱与诸位听。一道为民言故事，自有知音和情思，功名烈烈见流星，只知无愁心。彼时鹤归，茫茫天地无依靠，孤身离去。今日再会，新朋旧友坐满堂，共聚此时。
What did you think? Personally, I thought I sang rather well. It was beautiful. Paimon wants to learn too.
It was wonderful. Also, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks to you, the Divine Damsel of Devastation is a more nuanced tale than ever. The play has an ending, but life goes on. I believe you will find a way to fit in Liyue Harbor.
Thank you. I think I've found the opportunity I needed to change.
Ms. Yun, here you are. Great to see you. Huh? Hey, this young lady with the white hair looks like some kind of VIP. Yeah, that's it, like an Adeptus. Wait, you're the girl from the opera, aren't you? The divine damsel herself. And look who else we have here, the illustrious traveler. Well, I'll be. This was definitely worth showing up for. Let me pull up a chair, all right? We'll all have a friendly chat, get better acquainted.
Alternatively, you could leave us alone. That is, if you'd prefer to finish your drink via the orifice of your own choice.
Uh-oh, this feels all too familiar. Shenhe's back to her old self again.
Hey, what are you doing?
Calm down, Shenhe. Calm down.
I'm gonna pretend that, like, in canon, she's just speaking English. They just didn't like really translate it. I mean, to be fair, for me, Chinese singing especially, it feels very rough. Like, I don't know how to like explain it. It just feels very. It's something else. It's a strong language. Well, with like things like, I don't know, English or French, it's a little more softer. Oh yes. No loot.
Liyue is the new way to build healthier habits right from your wrist. Plus, the Halo app includes hundreds of workouts, daily meditations, recipes, and more. Halo, one membership, more ways to help you feel your best.
With 6 crunchy beef tacos plus a pound of potato olays, our 6-pack in a pound is great for date night, movie night, 1,000-piece puzzle night, camping, tailgates, or any day that ends in Y. $2 off the 6-pack in a pound, only from Taco John's.
Very mechanical.
This is the real deal. They really know what they're doing.
All of it looks absolutely next level.
Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the most anticipated games coming out next year.
And fingers crossed the last E3 we'll see Cyberpunk.
Chat. You know what I hate though? Is when people talked it and they always spoke like they knew. Like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like that, and like instead of being like, oh, you know, it probably, instead of asking, they just assumed. Always. I think that's just dumb about games. They always do it. Not the devs.
You need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out, and we will spend the additional time doing exactly that.
Cyberpunk has been delayed once again for the third time.
Welcome to the next generation of open world adventure. Immerse yourself in Cyberpunk 2077.
For this December 7th review embargo period, I am not allowed to show you my own gameplay footage.
Wonder why.
I can only use footage provided by CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red wouldn't allow us to use our own recorded gameplay for this review.
Nope. We have our official video review coming with our own footage as soon as we are able to.
I'm okay with that.
All right. Check this out.
More speed.
Okay, what am I lacking? Okay, the mushrooms and that.
Chat, I have a question, chat. Chat, why do they even have a box when something is missing? Why not just make it empty? At least it looks like a glitch, not like it's like it almost like it's like a scripted glitch. It's so weird.
I need to get our friendship level to max.
So they know? Oh, but yeah, but this is a grind copy, right? Easier to fix.
We've greatly enhanced our crowd and community system.
I won't let you down.
The most believable city in the open world game to date. The city's streets are bustling with crowds of people from all facets of life, all living their lives within a full day and night cycle.
Anything you want to get off your chest about the game that you're excited to tell us?
We put so much work into making sure that the city feels the best. We just really wanted to make sure that those people that live in the Night City, they're real.
Everyone's just super impressed, and the universal compliment that I'm seeing is that the world of Night City and its outskirts, there's just a beauty to it, a level of attention to detail to it that is seemingly unparalleled. Some people are flat out saying it is the most detailed world they've ever seen in a video game, period.
I'll race you there. Get ready for the gliding champion of Mondstadt.
Shut up.
That is the lag you did.
When you are in Night City and you're moving around Night City in first person, it's really, really exciting. And it's something that I've not seen before like this in a game. I've not ever really seen this before.
Illusion shattered.
Yeah, what's all of that? Damn that. Parkour, dude. Tony Hawk.
Rack and ruin. Shine down. Eye for an eye.
speed.
Today is the day to grab a Groupon experience that has perhaps your soul. Grab a drumstick, grab a massage, grab some laser tag, grab the Groupon app and...
Some of these bugs are so bad, dude. They look almost intentional.
Bet you can't keep up with me. Go, Baron Ball! No one escapes me. Sword, fate is upon you. I condemn you. Rack and ruin.
Don't believe me to play our Witcher games. I really promise that we'll deliver a truly outstanding setting probably the standard in this genre. Both in terms of the gameplay.
They are going to be receiving 30 million PLN, 7 million.
Freeze to the core. I condemn you.
City creation of high quality.
There is no escape.
Okay, guys. In our finesse chat, with the graphics quality, this guy's running this on his like Tamagotchi, dude. What the fuck is this?
Cyberpunk 2077's targeted at release for PC, Xbox One, PlayStation 4 and Stadia. It also is advertised as plays great on Xbox Series X and PS5.
Rack and ruin. Let it rain.
Very focused on PC current technology.
Our full attention.
Illusion shattered. Inazuma shines eternal.
Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready.
And of course, we're looking very closely and optimizing right now the FPS, and we really try to make sure that the game runs as smooth as possible. And at this stage of the production, we are at the moment when we are like optimizing the most and putting lots of work into like finding ways, okay, how to make Night City run really smooth.
We both just played a
Eye for an eye.
session of Cyberpunk
There is no escape.
2077.
The three of us just played 4 hours of Cyberpunk.
Cool.
4 hours.
Rack and ruin.
Here's one picture where they have a bunch of First off,
It was fucking awesome.
I condemn you.
There's so much. There is so much to do.
blown away.
I had my doubts with the trailer and they have delivered.
Everyone agrees that Cyberpunk 2077 so far is living up to the hype.
CDPR released the pre-order stats, 8 million copies pre-ordered, but 41% of those pre-order sales came from console gamers who did not really know what this game looked like outside of highly curated videos released specifically from the developer leading up to launch.
We want to continue to give you a closer look at the game running on console. Since going gold, the team at CD Projekt Red has continued to work on Cyberpunk, addressing bugs and glitches, and enhancing the gameplay and graphics. The gameplay you see today already includes a great number of those fixes as we work towards bringing the best possible experience on December 10th.
Cyberpunk 2077 marries exploration of a vast open world with kinetic combat, story-changing player choices, and robust
How did that look so good?
Cyberpunk has been taken off the PlayStation Store. You can no longer buy it digitally, and Sony is now officially offering refunds.
Even if you press done, you will find that no results available for Cyberpunk.
Retailers like GameStop and Best Buy are also allowing customers to get refunds.
The console version was not sent to press, and so we didn't really get to see what it looked like.
CD Projekt Red has
This opportunity is quite hard to come by. Well then, amuse me. Surrender is a valid option. I promise I'll be gentle.
Rack and ruin. No one escapes my sight.
Oh no.
I condemn you. Vengeance will be mine.
God damn, you're right.
Not bad, not bad. Not bad. You've got a trick.
Shadows of fate. There is no escape. Rack and ruin.
Back there. All you do is run.
Decided by destiny. Let me scribe. Go, spirit! Eye for an eye. Shine down.
No use hiding back there. You've got some skills.
Illusion shattered. Rack and ruin.
Bugs and crashes.
Everyone who is not willing to wait for updates and want to refund their digital copy can do so by submitting
The price of a single slip. All you do is run.
Absurd.
You have to be committed to downloading updates to fix this game. Because if you don't have any of that, you're screwed.
Eye for an eye. No escape. There is no escape. Now you shall perish. Illusion. Rack and ruin. Flood of frost. Shadows of fate, written in the stars. Get it!
My job
No one
is to
escapes
make
my sight.
college easy because
I'll
students
never
have
surrender.
a lot on their
Holy shit, that was lucky.
plates. Mike Harper, an econ major who piles on the pressure. Grammarly can help her stress less. This term paper's got
More
a grade.
speed.
It's a third grade. Your ideas are on the money. Let's make sure they come across clearly with Grammarly. Watch it work. Watch it work. Wow, that is stronger. And Avery, an engineering major who runs on ambition and coffee. Grammarly, can get her her dream job.
My application needs to stand out. They only meet with the top.
The cops spawn behind you, not even around the corner. No, directly behind you.
Holy shit.
I don't get it. That's fine. Oh, the physics. No, it's first person. Okay, that's a disaster though. That looks really good though. Good job, Rockstar.
It's getting embarrassing.
Jesus, dude. Guys, these comparisons are brutal, dude.
Aristocratic etiquette is all just for show. Just smile and nod along. I was forced to learn all of the rules by heart, but even I don't take them that seriously. You want to learn some Favonia's blade work?
Oh damn, dude! Okay, but dude, GTA is sick, dude. Damn, dude, that's so precise. Cause I actually feel bad to the people that bought the game on console. And people that got the game as a gift for console. Jesus, man.
Excuse me? Sorry about this.
Yeah, they got a refund, but still, dude, it's, you know. Okay, okay, dude. Okay, dude. They didn't have to do him like that.
We got shot. Sucker. Shit.
The world remains constant over the centuries, but human life is like the dew at dawn, or a bubble rising through water. Transitory.
Have you heard about the
Vision Hunt Decree.
Take it easy, and I'll take you to the safe.
The Vision Hunt Decree. Did something bad happen again?
Oh, this is pretty good.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm really
Whoa,
honored to announce
what is
that
this?
We are working on a cyberpunk game, but not just a regular cyberpunk game, on the cyberpunk game. Imagine a rich and futuristic world with ultra-modern technology.
William Gibson, the godfather of cyberpunk, as it were, Great Dismal on Twitter, he said that it just looked like GTA 5 with kind of 80s generic cyberpunk theme slapped over it.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or the... I don't know, that thing. That magic.
Okay, dude. Keep in mind that what you see here is not final. We just want to give you a glimpse of what will be possible in the released game. What would have happened if we hadn't met with the Militech agent? Or told Royce about the agent and her plans? Or just decided to buy the bot ourselves? So many options, so many possibilities. And each
Guys, I didn't watch the whole thing, Judge. This is a long video.
Ripple through the game world and your story. And that's just one quest.
Yeah, that's just one quest. Yeah, exactly. That is one of the most overstated parts of the game. It is not like that. It is not that interactive. It is not that tree branches type of things where everybody that plays the game is going to have a bit of a different experience. That's not what this game is.
This will really make each playthrough very unique to players, right? Not only the way you play it, the way you interact with the world, the way you talk to people, all that kind of stuff. Like, if you look at all the little choices that accumulate through the game, no playthrough will basically be like another.
95% of the dialogue options that you get are meaningless.
As you can see, we have many possible options, but in each case, we take a risk. It's our choice if we want to finish her off or spare her. Your cyberpunk, your rules.
The reality is that if you spare her, nothing happens.
And that was just a glimpse of how complex the branching storyline in Cyberpunk 2077 can get.
It's true.
Every decision you make
Which
will have
opera shall we perform today?
Your choices will shape how the world reacts to you and affect your relationships with those around you. One of those relationships.
Yeah.
Chat. I'm gonna watch the whole thing. It's a long video.
Come take a look. There will definitely
You're breathtaking.
Yeah, I'm skipping the rest of it, chat. Guys,
No, fucking finish it, pussy.
We got the point in. Guys, it's a good video, chat. I enjoyed it. I think we got the good part out of it.
Cyberpunk 2077 is set in Night City. G's current apartment is located inside a megabuilding, huge building complex that forms a micro-society of its own.
What's up, XQC?
Your stash is a security
Observe!
equipment that can be accessed
What
from
is
all
your
of your
favorite
safe
musical
houses.
instrument?
None.
All safe houses and vehicles, it says.
Right now, at the moment, we're not planning, for you to buy different apartments. Because, Cyberpunk's a very story-focused adventure.
Cyberpunk is an RPG at heart. I can't stress that enough. People have been doubting that.
That's not that bad of a. It's not.
In many ways, it is.
It's not a big selling
RPG
point, though.
than even,
So it's whatever.
Witcher was.
I couldn't even find a way to figure out what level an enemy actually is. So you never know exactly how easy or how difficult a fight is going to be.
This is an RPG, so before we get into our appearance, we need to define our backstory.
In the deep dive, we can see that the character has three sort of origins that we can pick. I mean, what are they and how do they actually affect the gameplay?
Oh, okay.
You're like, yes, let's go.
Yeah, okay. I'll go into my 50-minute answer. Okay, so you actually start off being a completely different person. Now, what is important with that is we actually take that through the whole game and with our best in it.
When I listen to my Sonos, I feel everything.
I
can't imagine cooking without someone in the kitchen.
It literally makes the food taste better.
It does make the food
She's in
taste
there,
better.
she's stirring.
When you hear the crowd, it's infectious. It's like we're at the game.
I was sold with the theater setup because I'm a big movie fan, and you want to be able to feel like you're there.
It
It's
looks
just
like
so
all my
simple.
rigorous training
Helps you
is
stay in the
finally
moment.
paying off.
I get rid of my couch before I get.
The quest team to like support all those like three, I would say, main ways to go through this story. And of course, player can like mix and match anytime, you know, any way he really wants. But it's something that we take from the very beginning till the very end.
The life paths have no impact on how any of the story plays out. They're all just really short, really stilted, 20-minute intro sections that all end with the player watching the exact same cutscene, no matter what you pick.
Cyberpunk 2077 is slightly shorter than Witcher 3 because we got a lot of complaints about Witcher 3's main story just being too long. And looking at the metrics, you see tremendous numbers of people played through that game really far, but never made it to the end. We want you to see this whole story. So we did shorten the main story.
The choices you make will shape your story.
Really?
And determine how events unfold. But not everything in Night City is a matter of life and death. Sometimes it's about style, choosing your look, your ride, your pastime, who's at your side. Choosing how you spend your dirty nights.
I don't know what's just being modded today. I don't get it.
You're never going to be in a situation where you're like, I need to get in there. I need to get in there.
Okay, chat, guys. I'm actually skipping. I'm actually skipping chat. I'm not. Guys, this is ruined. It's ruined. Chat. I'll just finish my food and then we'll go game time. I'll just watch whatever chat while I finish my food and then we'll go next.
Here's an amazing video on Cyberpunk. Don't have to watch the whole thing.
I'll be downloading it. 41 minutes. Hey man.
Branching storyline.
Up now. Good. 41 minutes. Hey man.
They were going on and on about how they create this vast open world with a branching storyline. The feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking.
To be fair, though, I mean, this game is going to be good in my opinion. It's just like, for some reason, games launch a little too early.
This game, it has the potential to be very, very special.
This is going to be an RPG. This is going to be very, very deep and very crunchy and very much bleed next level.
Cyberpunk 2077 is one of the most anticipated games coming out next year.
And fingers crossed the last E3 we'll see Cyberpunk at.
Fingers crossed.
We need to properly go through everything, balance game mechanics, and fix a lot of bugs. A huge world means a huge number of things to iron out. We will spend the additional time doing exactly that.
Cyberpunk has been delayed once again for the third time.
Welcome to the next generation of open world adventure. Cyberpunk 2077.
The plant chicken for chicken lovers. There.
2,
Chicken
3,
back. Chicken on.
In the past,
For this December 7th review embargo period, I am not allowed to show you my own gameplay footage. I can only use footage provided by CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red doesn't allow us to use our own recorded gameplay for this review.
Nope. We have our official video review coming with our own footage as soon as we are able to.
Check this out.
Oh no. Wait, what?
If my master...
Oh no. Oh no.
If my master...
Yeah, fuck it. Let's listen to it.
If my master were to learn about this, she'd probably have me add some more red ropes.
Prefab missings.
She really flows really well.
Oh, fucking A. I hate when people say codes like that. That's tough.
Living their lives within a full day and night cycle.
Honestly, I could put this girl's progression on pause.
Oh, goodness gracious. They're just in there. It's like fucking. It's like controlling security guards in Roller Coaster Tycoon. You just put them in their little area.
You put so much work into making sure that the city feels the best. We just really wanted to make sure that those people that live in the Night City, they're real.
No fucking way, dude.
Everyone's just super impressed, and the universal compliment that I'm seeing is that the world of Night City and its outskirts, there's just a beauty to it, a level of
Oh, you can create sets in this now?
that is seemingly unparalleled. Some people are flat out saying it is the most detailed world they've ever seen in a video game, period.
Who is that guy, chat? This was before that he was given footage out, right? Like this is, or maybe that was just based on rumors. The shadow's not going with it. It's fucking lagging behind it.
Okay.
When you are in Night City and you're moving around Night City in first person, it's really, really exciting, and it's something that I've not.
Majority of this from console. True.
Like this.
PC, fine, just boring. Gotcha. Well, maybe they'll get into other stuff in the video besides just graphics, I imagine, because it's like, what, 40-minute video.
Oh. Like, don't I have... I think I already have that set out there.
Hey, watch it. This is too much.
Heads up, most of the graphic shit you are seeing is on console. PC is far better, and Cyberpunk is far better now that it's been getting work on it.
Yeah, I imagine so. It's like a lot of it's not graphics related though, you know, a lot of it is, but a lot of it's like also just like fucked up period.
I always love to take a stroll around the night market after a performance. This street has a striking resemblance to those back in Liyue. It really feels just like being there. Let's take a stroll around here tonight then. What do you say?
I think it's a really bold statement, but if you don't believe me, I'll future games. I really promise that we'll deliver a truly outstanding futuristic RPG, setting totally new standard in the genre, both in terms of the gameplay and also on the tech side.
They are going to be receiving 30 million PLN, which is roughly $7 million, and their fourth proposal is some very interesting game development goals. Now, the first of which is city creation of high quality open world
Depends
games.
who they're getting their money from, you know what I mean? I'm sure that there's all sorts of pressure to get the game done quick, to get the money back as fast as possible. That was invested, that sort of stuff. That's why a lot of times with games like this, you just give it another year and end up fixing all the stupid stuff about it. It's just kind of console stuff, right? Did they fix up the console yet? Or is it still shitty? Wait, this is on PC?
Welcome home. It's great to have you back.
How can you tell?
I heard that I should say
this
these
one's
sorts of
controller
things
right
whenever
here.
family
supposed to be-
returns home. To be honest, I had originally expected this place to be like an Adeptus abode. I never suspected that your design would differ so greatly from what I had imagined. Most Adepti spend their years wandering the outside world. Though their abodes can be uniquely picturesque, they also feel like a lonely and remote paradise. But here feels very warm and cozy, and I have a nice person like you to keep me company. I've truly never experienced anything like this. What I mean is, I like it here. I will cherish this place and learn to adapt to life here. However, there are many pieces of decoration and furniture here that I've never seen before. I'm uncertain of their use or purpose. So please take a moment to explain everything to me when you could spare the time.
Its name can take. If you could not. Yes, you needn't worry. I have a habit of going to an open space every. It can be difficult to find a suitable place. Yes, if you skip a day. To be completely honest, great.
Okay. Just play outside now.
PC was not lying, chat is lying. I have a mid-spec PC and I can only get 20 FPS at
Cyberpunk
1080p.
Target PC.
Flag fly! And step!
Okay. You got a bunch
If
of
we were
blue
in
trains
Liyue Harbor, this street would be crammed with people.
Your family
and I don't
can
think
get
I'd
sick
stay
at
longer than I
any
needed
time,
to.
which is where Teledoc can help.
But here, this street seems like such a safe place. Join me for a walk. It could be good practice for you, helping me acclimatize to the mortal world.
With
You played on 20 FPS? Yeah, they said they don't know his voice. Yeah, Conker, I know the indie
I
devs
much
have to
prefer
put in
tranquil
a good
places
effort,
like
right?
this to the constant clamor of the city. It's somewhere that I can be myself. No distractions. A life of freedom, leisure, and relative privacy. It seems this appeals to you, too.
What the fuck?
Those of you who are familiar with the way we make games know that we won't ship something which is not ready.
Of course, we're very
Where
closely
there
and
was a bug
optimizing
where your
right now
save would get corrupted if you had
FPS,
too
and we
large of an
really try to
inventory.
make sure that
Otherwise,
the
okay, not
game
good on
runs
PC.
as smooth as possible.
Gotcha, okay.
At this stage of the production, we are at the moment when
Sure,
we are
that's
like
fixable.
optimizing the most and putting
I remember
lots
that
of
happened
work
first
into
day, some
finding
people saying
ways,
that.
okay, how to make
Thanks for doing something, man.
The game is still $60
just
a month.
played a 4-hour
Yeah, that's
session
gonna be-
of Cyberpunk 2077.
I'm getting to play Cyberpunk 2077. The three of us just played 4 hours of Cyberpunk each.
A 4-hour full-on
Through my
experience of the
playthrough of
first part of the
70
game.
plus
So
hours,
here's
I
one
maybe had to
picture
reboot the
where they
game
have
twice on
a
PC,
bunch of
and that was at
computers
law.
just decked out.
5700 XT, Ryzen
fucking awesome.
3000
I'm
Ryzen
really
50X.
excited.
Hmm.
There's so
Love the game.
much. There is so much to do.
Not bad then. You had a good you had a good experience.
I
had my doubts, given the trailer and how good it looked. They have delivered.
Everyone agrees
had no
that
bugs or issues
Cyberpunk
playing this
2077 so far
Okay.
is living up to the hype.
CDPR released the pre-order stats, 8 million copies pre-ordered, but
41%
Alright, yeah, I don't think I can handle listening to this.
who did not really know.
Ooh, I'm not too sure. I think
America's most reliable network is going ultra, with Verizon 5G Ultra Wideband now in many more cities. Hey, it's Mindy! Downloading a movie up to 10 times faster than before. Whoa, is that done?
Yep.
Verizon is going ultra, so you can too.
You may not call yourself a superhero, but you have many superpowers. The Joint Chiropractic can help ease your pain and keep you active. The Joint Chiropractic. Don't do pain.
Welcome to r/malicious compliance, where a stupid security guard tries to confiscate some lady's breast milk. Our next Reddit post is from Onion Soup for the Soul. So, about 2 months ago, I went to Cuba with my mother. It was an all-inclusive trip, so everything was pretty much provided for by Sunwing. Whenever I travel, I like to bring with me this cute 500 milliliter glass water bottle with this rubber pink casing that I got while I was in China. Normally, this bottle wouldn't be an issue. There were a few odd times when airport security would check to make sure that it was empty because it was clearly over the 100 milliliter maximum. But they would always let us go without a hitch. When we were traveling to Cuba, the bottle was checked and given back to us on our way there. But on the way back, it was a completely different story. There were tons of people flying out of that airport the same day as us. So there were like 200 people waiting to check in at only 3 check-in counters. When we finally checked in, it had been about 2 hours since we got there. We were pretty tired from standing, so we wanted to get through the gates as fast as we could, so we took the shortest line in security. There were 2 people working at each bag check area. At ours, there was a lady looking through the screen displaying the x-ray and a guy in charge of checking suspicious bags. When we put our bags on the conveyor belt, the lady began gesturing to her partner and pointing at her screen. The guy then grabbed my stuff and then carefully shuffled through the bag. But really, he just went for the water bottle because I assume that's what the lady pointed out on the screen. Is this your water bottle? Yes. Okay, I'm gonna confiscate this because it's against the rules to bring this on board. But it's empty. Yes, but it's over 100 milliliters and that's against the rules. At this point, I was confused, but I didn't want to make a scene and get kicked out. No, that's for liquids. No, it's for the size of the bottle, and it's glass. But we have this bottle, and it's also glass. That's under 100 milliliters, so it's allowed. At this point, I wasn't sure if he didn't know the rules or something, because every time he answered, he sounded very unsure. Can I see where it states that I cannot bring an empty water bottle over 100 milliliters with me? The guy grabbed a nearby plaque that labels prohibited items and pointed to a wine bottle. I said, but that's not allowed because it's alcohol. No, because it's a glass bottle over 100 milliliters. His tone at this point indicated that his real intentions were that he wanted my water bottle because he's really just grabbing arguments out of thin air. At this point, I was just trying to test his nerves. So, if I had a 100 milliliter glass bottle of alcohol, I could bring it with me? No, because it's alcohol. I said, so is that, referring to the plaque. He said, do you want to take the cover off the bottle before it's sent to be destroyed? He handed the bottle back for me to remove the casing. Keep in mind that there was some more bantering back and forth, basically saying the same thing over and over again. I was really pissed at this point. I really liked that water bottle, and it was clear that the only reason he was confiscating the bottle was because either he or the lady wanted it. So I took the water bottle from his hands. But since the only problem is the size of the glass, I can take everything else. So I stared into his eyes as I removed the lid of the bottle and handed the rest back to him. His face instantly became red with anger, and he aggressively threw the rest into the disposal bin. I now have no use for the cap or the casing, but he now has no use for a bottle with no cap, and that's all that matters. Down in the comments, we had this story from Subtle Glow. I had to sit for 45 minutes while the TSA in the United States tried to figure out if I was allowed to carry on my breast milk for my 3-month-old who was traveling with me. I had purposefully packaged it in individual bags around 60 milliliters each, but because of the overall volume, they were concerned. It wasn't until the little dude got hungry and I whipped out my boob to feed him, making snarky comments like, "Did you want to confiscate the milk from my breast as well? Did they tell me that it was okay to continue on my flight?" Their manager never even got there. Be like, "Ma'am, you're free to board the plane, but you'll have to leave your boobs with us." And last but not least, we have this story from Deleted. A few years ago, I was at Mumbai airport going through security. They noticed that I had dollar bills in my bag and told me that taking Indian rupees out of India is prohibited by law. I quickly checked, and sure enough, there was a regulation about not being able to carry over the equivalent of about $400 out of India. I had this money left over from my trip, and I'd planned to exchange it once I got home. Security told me they had to confiscate it, and I figured they just wanted the money to share amongst themselves because when I flew through the airport previously, it was never an issue. I told them I'd like to speak to a supervisor, and they gave me some BS excuse about the supervisor not being available right now. I said no problem. I'll wait until he's available, but I'll wait in the terminal. I zipped up my bag, and they told me that I wasn't allowed to go back since I had already technically cleared security. I ignored them, and I told them I was going to use the bathroom while I wait for the supervisor to become available. I went back into the terminal and spent all the money. They didn't chase after me, but when I came back to go through security again, they were pissed, and they still didn't have their supervisor present. They asked me where I hid the money, and I said that I spent it. After that, they proceeded to open up every single pocket in my bag, trying to find something they could confiscate, but they failed miserably. Totally worth it. Our next Reddit post is from Reed Duncan. So, my ex-wife and I used to have a great relationship, but she's become petty and somewhat vindictive these last couple of months. Our relationship started going downhill after her daughter, my ex-stepdaughter, broke into my house and stole from me and my new wife while we were on vacation together. Yes, I invited my ex-wife and her boyfriend to come on vacation with us so that it would be a family thing. My current wife was completely fine with it. Not only did we invite them, we paid for everything. Plane tickets, rental house, meals, activities, etc. We've done this before, and it was nice. While we were on this vacation, my ex-wife's daughter broke into our house and stole from us. We had to file a police report because one of the things stolen was medication, and we couldn't get new prescriptions without filing a police report. This upset my ex-wife, even though we told her before we called the cops, and she said, "Do what you need to do." Before this, my ex and I would pretty much just buy whatever the kids needed while we had them. Every once in a while, she would ask me to split the cost of some things, and I would. I had never asked her to split the cost of anything prior to this, but lately, she's been asking me to split the cost of just about everything she buys. Fine, whatever. I usually buy most of the things for the kids anyways. About a month ago, my son needed some new equipment for indoor lacrosse. My ex-wife
Notion still continues to be the easiest way to just get information centralized somewhere and then shot out to somebody else. And
I've asked if I would split the cost, and I said fine. When she took him out shopping, they couldn't find everything, so I bought most of the stuff online. I asked her what she bought and how much, and I told her what I bought and how much. It turns out that she owed me for the split. It was only $40, and I would have let it go, but she hounded me for a week over $5. This pissed her off. She's fine when I have to pay her, but she gets pissed when she has to pay me. I only asked for her portion of the split because she asked me to split the cost in the first place. We argued back and forth, and then she came up with a list of things that we wouldn't have to split, and everything else we would split. So then, after comparing lists, I owe her $80, but she owes me $425. Our next Reddit post is from Secret Asylum. My mom found a bottle of vodka in my room, and both of my parents lost their minds. I decided for once that I was going to stand my ground. They were abusive, and they used to hit me and gaslight me all the time. I only stopped getting hit when I finished high school, and I'm still convinced that it was because I scared them when I started getting more pissed than scared. And telling my dad to hit me, since that's all he knew how to do when I could see it coming. One time when he hit me, I even offered the other cheek, lol. The gaslighting and occasional verbal abuse still continues though. When they found that vodka bottle, I was an adult, and it wasn't like I was abusing it. I only ever drink once or twice a month, and never enough to not be able to act sober if needed. A bottle lasted me a while, so I said, yes, it's mine. I'm an adult and I choose to drink occasionally. They started accusing me of being a drunk, saying that all the times that I've been happy or laughed the last few months was only because I was drunk. They then moved on to accusing me of probably smoking crack and other hardcore drugs. They had previously found some weed before, but that's a whole story of its own. They said that I was choosing to be a bad girl who does this stuff when there are good girls who don't. Finally, they said that they were going to cut me off and pull me out of university since they were paying for it, while actively discouraging me from working so I could focus on my studies. My dad had his name on my bank account, and he had previously emptied it of the significant amount of money that I had saved. That money consisted of insurance money that I received when I turned 18, and the money that I earned working summers at our family business. They probably plan to do the same thing again. They said they weren't going to pay for my university, and that if I was going to drink and do bad stuff, then they weren't going to help me with school and I had to drop out, make my own money, and move out. They said they wanted nothing to do with a daughter like me. My dad also made it a point to say that it didn't matter what happened to me, and he said that he doesn't care if I die of a drug overdose or COVID. This was the last thing that he said to me before giving me the silent treatment for months. They were not going to kick me out. This was all just mind games. They expected me to crumble, that I would beg at their feet to stay, while swearing that I would never look in the direction of liquor again, because they knew that I was financially dependent on them. I knew this because public appearance and reputation meant everything to them. They would have to explain to our relatives and their friends what happened to their daughter, who no longer lived with them. In our culture, kids moving out of the home isn't very common. Plus, when I resorted to holding up in my room after the verbal abuse and not leaving for days unless everyone else had gone to bed so I could eat, my mom came to me demanding to know if I was going to listen to them and not do bad things ever again, LMAO. They literally wanted me to beg for forgiveness, but I did not beg. I gave her the bare minimum response while holding on to my anger. What they didn't know was that I wasn't just holed up in my room avoiding them until things died down. I was doing what they told me to do. I was making money. Not just any money, but money they had no access to. Over the last few years, I had been writing a book online and posting chapters for people to read for free as a hobby. I was the quiet kid who was a bookworm growing up, and I still am. My mom didn't like how I used to just sit quietly and read instead of interacting with the family that bullied me for being a fat child. She was always telling me to stop reading. My love of reading and not being able to stop daydreaming and creating stories in my head had me turn writing into a hobby. I started writing book in my free time without expecting it to go anywhere, posting it for free on Wattpad. I was content with the little boost that I got from reader comments and votes I got each time that I updated a chapter, even if it was only once every few weeks or months. Even the fans harassing me for updates made me feel good because it told me they enjoyed my writing. Those days that I was hiding in my room were actually spent writing the next few chapters of my book. What I would have lazily spent months writing here and there, I instead wrote in days. I created a Patreon page and posted the new chapters on that before posting an update where I regularly updated new free chapters, informing my readers that they could pay to read chapters early on my Patreon, and that I was going to start uploading multiple times a week there regularly while still providing one free update every week. The next time my mom started writing me about staying in my room, I played along and agreed with her, lying through my teeth that I would never drink again, and that I knew that I was wrong. I knew that I would never make enough to move out and stick it to my parents, but I used the emotions they brought out in me to encourage me to start creating financial stability for myself. I made $600 in the last 10 days of the month. Then I made over $3,000 the next month. Then $5,000. The amount that I made each month kept increasing. Last month, I was a few dollars shy of making $11,000. This month, I think I might make even more. I wanted to keep my income a secret, but I was happy to tell my mom that I started making money from writing when she asked me what my plans were after I got my undergrad.
Setting up my new invisible fence. Groovy, huh?
Not really. That's pretty old school technology. Halo uses GPS, so you can take your fence wherever you go.
Order a new Halo wireless fence today at halocollar.com.
Amazon Halo View is the new way to build healthier habits right from your wrist. Easily check your sleep score, step count, and heart rate, plus start live workouts with a tap. And the Halo app includes hundreds of workouts, daily meditations, recipes, and more. You can even measure your body composition and take a movement assessment to better understand your mobility and posture and get a personalized program to improve over time. Halo, one membership, more ways to help you feel your best.
Undergraduate degree, because now the roles were reversed. I was right. They did not intend to kick me out. My mom knew that I was making money from writing, but not how much, only knowing that I said that I would continue to if I started making enough. I have never seen my mom backtrack so fast, but not before attempting a bit of gaslighting, of course. It hadn't clicked for her how much money I was making while, in her eyes, I was just sitting at home on my phone. It only clicked with her when I dropped the news that I'd made $60,000 since I started earlier this year. Now, my mom is afraid to say anything that will upset me. She did smell weed once, but instead of calling me out on it and searching my room inside and out, she asked me hesitantly if I knew anything, and even ended the conversation by saying, "Oh, it must have been from outside," after I denied it. I'm gonna stick around without rocking the boat until I finish my degree, or until I have enough money saved that I'm comfortable losing my parents as a source to turn to for help. My source of income isn't very secure yet, so I'm still cautious about letting it go to my head. Our next Reddit post is from Sky is Good. When I was in the fire academy, the women's dress code said that our hair had to be worn in a neat bun. I had layered, shoulder-length hair, so it was difficult to keep it up neatly all day long. The shorter pieces would stick out of the bun and fall around my face, and my bangs weren't long enough to pin back without using an entire bottle of hairspray. Most of my instructors were understanding and said that as long as my hair was up and my mask could seal to my face, they would consider me to be in dress code. But there was one instructor who said there was no excuse. "We're a paramilitary type school, so dress code is extremely important." She acknowledged that it wasn't a safety issue, but told me that I had to follow it anyway and that doing my best just wasn't good enough. She wrote me up 3 times and then called me in for a meeting to inform me that another write-up for the same issue would get me expelled from the program. I looked into the dress code and saw that the men's hair code was much more lenient. It just said that hair must not touch the collar of the shirt or the tops of the ears. So, the night after that meeting, I went to a hair place and told the stylist to do whatever she wanted to my hair as long as it fit those requirements. She was stoked and gave me a really cute pixie cut. The next day, the same instructor tried to write me up, but since I was technically in dress code, she couldn't. The next semester, there was a man with long hair who wore it in a bun instead of cutting it, and the following semester, the dress code was rewritten to be gender neutral. I'm gonna be straight with you, OP. I don't know what Fire Academy is. I really have no clue. So this whole story, I was just picturing in my head whatever school students go to in the Fire Nation, and then you said that it's a paramilitary type school, which just reinforced that image even more. So flameo, hot man. That was r/malicious compliance, and if you like this content, check out my podcast where I publish the exact same episodes. Also, hit that subscribe button.
Once upon a time at the magical Everly Estate, landscaper Larry and his trusty crew.
Here are 3 reasons why you should buy a new gaming PC.
Welcome to r/Am I the Butthole, where OP gets upset at someone.
Hey there, it's your boy Foxy again.
Welcome to r/Am I the...
Because I don't think this one is very dark. It's dark, but it's not, I don't think it's the worst. I don't think I need to give you too big of a heads up. Isn't it? Because I think this is the one about the crazy girl who tried to set up a hit and she I don't know. I don't think it's TOS though. It's not dark though. I mean, they're always pretty dark, but they're not dark. We've seen pieces of this before, but we haven't seen the whole thing, okay? So if you don't say, we already watched this. We watched pieces of this a long time ago. Separately on multiple channels.
On the 4th of October, 2009, the sun began to set over the South Atlantic coast, and the wealthy city of Boynton Beach started to settle down for a Sunday evening. It was around that time when 38-year-old entrepreneur Michael DiPolito, whose wife was out of town, decided it would be a good idea to hire an escort for the night. Just 35 minutes after calling the service, 26-year-old Dalia Mohammed showed up at his front door. Just 2 weeks after their first acquaintance, Michael filed for divorce from his wife of 7 years and proposed to Dalia with a $20,000 engagement ring.
Huh?
She said yes. It appeared as though the concept of love at first sight...
Guys, I don't have any prejudice against Florida and Miami, but this honestly sounds like the most Florida Miami thing I think I've ever heard in my life.
...wasn't exclusive to fairy tales, and Michael had finally met his princess. Or so he thought.
In the sky, for as you are, devil in the sky.
No? Six months later. Jesus.
I'd rather be as less,
This would be the first of a total 15 times that Dalia would look directly into the hidden camera. With the naked eye, she would only see a small hole in the corner of the back seat. Not overly suspect, but certainly unusual, and the fact that she continuously glanced at it throughout this setup proved that she harbored suspicion. But although she had doubts, she appeared to have no hesitation in accepting the risk for the potential reward, which in this case would have been the brutal murder of her newlywed husband. In order to recite the entire sequence of events that led up to this moment, including each of the highly calculated and equally corrupt decisions that Dalia made, this would need to be a 3-part series. So for the purpose...
Wait, this means that she could use that in her defense like crazy though, I feel like. If she did that though, then she had this really good defense case.
Of time management, here's a quick rundown of the most notable moments. On February 2nd, 2009...
Why? Okay, I don't want to spoil it. Okay, I don't want to spoil it. I'll tell you guys why I said that from hindsight. Because I want to spoil the video for you guys, okay? You guys will understand what I mean later. Okay? Because, basically, I feel like the way she could use it in her defense is that she could say, look, I looked into the camera because I definitely knew there was a camera. I knew for a fact, and I was playing it out for content or whatever. And she only carried it out like this because she knew she was getting filmed. And it was
I don't think that
Nick and
ever
Dahlia
worked.
made
Ever.
it official
I know
and
it's
got
weird.
married. According to reports,
You'll see though.
Dahlia appeared to be a very loving wife, always
You'll see though.
embracing her
Most
husband with
retarded.
public displays of affection and telling him how much she adored him, even to the point where people around them started to get
It's not a bad take. Guys, we've seen small bits of this. I didn't want to spoil it. I didn't want to seem like I was saying some really weird shit to chat. Okay, I'm sorry. Just watch and you'll see.
comfortable.
This is a family business. The next logical leaders would be Amber and myself.
Jesse and I are teaming up on a new business venture. Me and BJ are also strongly betrothed.
Not a real family, no kids.
Wham, I like that one.
The reporter is in our backyard.
You don't know who you're messing with. I'm on the way up, and you on the way down.
Let's go save our family.
What does the future of strength look like? It's a personal trainer that assesses your strength and adds weight as you progress.
Cool, can't see.
It's dynamic weight that adjusts for you in real time for a more efficient workout.
Come on.
And it's a roster of coaches that motivates you to get stronger, faster. The future is strength you can feel and results you can see. And you can only experience.
Just over a month into their marriage, in the early morning hours of March 12th, Michael's probation officer knocked at the door, with 2 deputies standing beside him. Michael had been convicted in 2001 for a fraud operation. He served 7 months in prison and was rendered 28 years of probation. This was the first time his PO had showed up unannounced, and Michael was informed that multiple calls had come in from an anonymous source, stating that he was selling steroids and ecstasy from the house. They presented him with a warrant and began to search the premises. If the allegation were proven to be true, Michael could have been sent back to prison for over 10 years. Luckily for him, no illegal substances were found. The next weekend, Dahlia suggested a spur-of-the-moment romantic getaway in Palm Beach, and the couple stayed at a luxury hotel that Saturday night. But on the Sunday morning, police were waiting for them in the parking lot, stating they received an anonymous call that he was dealing drugs out of his car. They searched the vehicle, but once again found nothing. 2 weeks later, they went out to dinner, and on their way back to the car, police were waiting for them once more in the parking lot. Only this time they found a small bag of cocaine stashed inside a cigarette pack. Michael immediately broke down in tears, claiming that he had been set up and knew nothing about the drugs. Incredibly, the police believed him and decided not to make an arrest. They later testified that the first reason was due to the conspicuous and unusual hiding place for the cocaine. The second reason was their suspicions of his wife Dahlia, who appeared emotionless as her husband was having a nervous breakdown. On the ride home, as Dahlia was driving,
Jesus.
Michael realized that she was the only one who knew.
I'm actually surprised though. They actually believe in that. That's pretty crazy.
Where they were going for dinner, and was the only person who had access to the car. So he asked her point blank if she had anything to do with it, and the accusation wasn't taken well. She put the pedal to the floor and got up to 190 on the freeway, all the while
she must have acted so poorly that this actually went through, because I don't know.
Screaming at the top of her lungs, claiming to be astonished that he could even accuse her of such a thing. Out of fear of his life, Michael apologized and said that he didn't mean it. The next morning, Dahlia was aware that Michael's suspicions had arisen, and knew she had to divert his attention somehow. So just after making him breakfast, she gave him the incredibly exciting yet completely fictitious news that she was pregnant. Michael was ecstatic. They went out and bought baby books, and the dubious circumstances that occurred the night before appeared to have been forgotten. That very same day, Dahlia contacted her ex-lover, Mike Stanley, a guy she had already used for money and dumped on 3 separate occasions beforehand, yet managed to reel him back in with a single text. After reuniting, Dahlia hatched an extravagant plan. Mike would pose as a lawyer, contact Michael over the phone, and give him the misleading legal advice that in order for him to get off probation, he would need to move his house solely into his wife's name. Astonishingly enough, without doing his own research, Michael decided to take the advice from the mysterious caller at face value, and he and his supposedly pregnant wife then drove to the title company to transfer ownership. Mike Stanley was then cut off without any explanation or even a farewell, and Dahlia then turned to another ex-lover, Mohammed Shihadeh, who she must have thought was a more appropriate option for her next scheme. To cut a long story short, she asked Mohammed to hire a hitman to kill her husband. He neither accepted nor rejected rejected the proposal, but instead of driving to work after their meeting, he drove to the Boynton Police Department to inform them of Dahlia's intentions. The police then inserted a hidden camera into the backseat of Muhammad's vehicle and had him arrange a second rendezvous with Dahlia to get definitive proof of her intentions. They got it. She was recorded on film handing over a photo of Michael, a photo of the house, and a $3,000 down payment for the assassination. The authorities had more than enough evidence to arrest Dahlia immediately, but to further capture her intent and to really make the charges stick, they set up a second meeting with a supposed hitman, who is actually an undercover narcotics officer. And that brings us back to the very first moment Dahlia looked directly into the hidden camera.
I know I got a picture. I looked at a picture of the house.
That's good. You got everything.
Well, that's up to you.
I mean, I need to come like this week, but like my understanding of everything was that like, you know, I was gonna give you what I gave you, and then that was everything. Until after the fact, and then after the fact, I guess you were gonna find me or whatever. I mean, I'm good for it. Like, it's not like I don't have it.
No,
I mean, I know not to fuck around with you. You know certain things, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you obviously know where I'm at.
The thing about self-destruction is that it happens all the time, and it's most often a very difficult thing to witness, as it can be the casual sequence of uncontrollable circumstances, such as adversity, tragedy, or misfortune. Yet when a person's self-destruction occurs solely due to their own greed and corruption, it becomes far less difficult and a lot more fascinating to behold.
I can get it up on Wednesday, you know what I'm saying? But I gotta do my homework, you know? I gotta, know exactly where the place is and how to get out of there, how to get in and out, you understand what
There's no CC for this.
I gotta call the cops, report a shooting to see how fast they get to that location. There's a lot of stuff.
Caught on a fucking potato, are you kidding me?
A lot of money.
So if we go ahead and do it, like, at the house, like, how soon could you do it?
This is filming a fucking Texas Instrument calculator, dude.
I break into the house, didn't think he was going to be home because everybody works in the daytime.
Right.
I'm going to think he's at work, but when he's not at work, then, he gets 2 in the head. That's it, I took a couple things with me, took a couple windows, make it look like a robbery that went bad, and I'm gone out of there. We're just going to be asking him questions, although they know it's going to be obvious what it is, and they already know, but, they're going to ask questions, because that's how they got to do it. But I don't know how well we handle pressure. I don't know, because I don't want...
No, I'm not going to, I'm a lot tougher than what I look. I know you're like, oh, what a cute little girl, whatever. But I'm not.
You're beautiful.
Thank you, but
This guy.
make sure everything's good.
Between now and when it's done, you have to have an option to change your mind.
I'm gonna have to...
There's no changing, there's no...
I want something that gives high friendship.
I'm 5,000% sure, like...
Okay.
Might be one of these weekly bosses.
Jesus, man.
He always walks the dog in the morning.
Okay.
He walks the dog across, over where the lake is, and our door is always unlocked.
I'll be in the house by 6:30 Wednesday morning. 6 o'clock.
That's a lot of percentages.
All right.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much, and I guess...
You're here for me.
I'll hear from you.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
Bye.
Dahlia got out of the car and drove away, believing her husband would be murdered just 2 days later. She followed orders and went to the gym at 5:43 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Police then knocked on the door and gave Michael the unfortunate news of his wife's intentions before driving him to the police station. Dahlia was called back to the house by a sergeant 1 hour later. Everything about the crime scene was fake, except for the news camera which captured the entire incident.
I'm Sergeant Ramsey. I'm the one that called you. Thank you for coming. I'm sorry to call you. Listen, we had a report of a disturbance at your house, and there were shots fired. Is your husband Michael? Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, ma'am. He's been killed. He's been killed, man. Listen.
No. This guy, dude.
Listen, right now we're...
Don't tell.
We need to get you to the police station. We can't let you in, man. We have to do our job. You want us to find this killer, okay? We need you to calm down. I need you to go with these detectives, okay?
Jesus.
Is there anyone that would want to hurt him? Okay, who would want to hurt him? Witnesses said they saw a black male running from you. I can't let you see him, ma'am.
From hindsight, it's so painful.
Right now. I can't. Detective Yopi, we need you to take her to the station. I can't. Go with these detectives. If you want to help your husband, okay? If you want to help your husband, you need to go to the station with these gentlemen and tell us everything you know about who he knows, who he's connected to. Don't worry, we've already taken care of your guns with animal control for right now. Everything's under control. And we'll take care of everything else, okay? Thank you, guys.
Protocol we have to do.
Don't tell him.
Everybody the rights. So
She doesn't know.
If you don't understand who you know, you just tell me and I'll stop and repeat. First of all,
So they. So she gets she does agree to her rights.
Whoa.
Without making it sound like there's any problem with it, right? They're downplaying the fuck out of it.
I don't want to say no.
5. Well, let's milk it out. I still want Gene, so.
This is something because
Need 7, I just need 3 more.
You to sign also. It gives us the right. So you want to take it? You want to read that?
I don't want to be video.
Well, you're being videotaped. That's all part of it.
Hello?
Why would you not? What?
Whose number is that?
That's your home number.
Oh.
Okay. Listen, if anybody that you know that you think would want to kill your husband, for what?
Dahlia recounts Michael's entire criminal history in vivid detail, gives multiple reasons as to why someone would want him dead, and even names a potential suspect who in reality had nothing to do with the situation and is only a former business associate.
Well, when you say people, who are you talking about? People that were involved with him before, or?
A little bit of everything. This was supposed to be something that between us. When people, friends of his, people, people,
Let him
everyone
frost.
had their costs.
I condemn you. There is no escape. Torn to oblivion.
And that was, you guys specialize in a lot of guys who work out and starting to move up here. And we're constantly running into, you know what I mean? A lot of the guys that he knows and things like that. So it was a lot of money. It was $100,000, and he had to pay back. So
Most of the time, all the time. None.
Certain families, they were on the news, like the guys that all just went away.
What nationality is it, right?
Wow. I want to tell you everything, the whole,
Please do.
kind of know.
Yeah, I do.
That hit me.
So that's what happened with that. So he didn't know how to tell everybody what was going on with everything.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you know, he was shot. He was shot twice. And I want you to know all this.
Do you know this?
Did they tell you out there?
Not exactly. I mean, he told me he got a phone call. I didn't
Rack and ruin.
Oh no.
Evidently, your husband answered the door. And they took him back upstairs. And in the bedroom.
He doesn't answer for anybody to answer.
I have
And
no-
I mean, the only person, like a probation officer, is like, you know what
I
I
have
mean?
no idea.
He does not answer the door. We have cameras, like at our house.
Maybe he knows this person. I didn't know you had cameras because when we got there, some of your neighbors heard the commotion.
We have cameras, the front door has cameras,
Oh,
the back door has cameras.
Yeah.
They don't record.
And they don't record.
We told everybody to record, but they don't record. Because he doesn't want them to make a hole in the garage.
Right now, I'm going to go out and get in touch with the officers. I want to see if the house is burglarized. All right, just hang on for a second.
The lead investigator returns 16 minutes later.
No escape. I
You do know that I advise you to do right, right? Okay. The game's over with. Okay? There's no more games with you and I. Now we're going to get down to serious business.
Oh,
I don't know if you know this guy. Come here. Bring this guy in here.
Oh my god. No shot, man.
Get over here.
They bring in the undercover cop who remains in character, acting like he's been caught, but refuses to allege Dahlia's involvement. She happily plays along.
You know who this guy is? You've never seen him before.
This guy did.
Do you know her? Put your head up. What were you doing coming out of her house? You're not here.
She doesn't know.
Dahlia was able to use her looks to get what she wanted out of life, which of itself isn't necessarily a bad thing. People do what they can to get by, which sometimes means relying on physical appearance, and in some cases they have no other option. Yet the majority of those who navigate life in this manner do so without intentionally hurting anyone. Dahlia went out of her way to not only hurt, but to literally slaughter the person whom she had tricked into falling in love with her, and for no other reason than monetary gain. She hadn't come from a broken home, nor was she a battered wife. There were no mitigating circumstances whatsoever. Only the cold-blooded pursuit to get what she wanted, how she wanted, impartial to the suffering she would cause as a result.
She even had the
In
house
next
too, though.
moments, her karmic debt will have finally caught up, and for perhaps the first time in her adult life, neither sex appeal nor her fabricated charm will be enough to save her from the consequences of her actions.
You're going to jail today for solicitation and murder. You're under arrest. That's an undercover police officer. We filmed everything that you did. Recorded everything that you did.
Oh, Jesus.
You're going to jail for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Did you hear what I just told you? Everything, listen to me. Everything has been recorded. You were photographed in the convertible when you sat in his car in the front of CVS. What do you want to do? What do you want to do here, Dahlia?
I didn't do anything, I swear.
You're going to jail.
So see, that's the real
Tell me
crime.
you didn't do anything. You're going to jail today. As soon as I'm done, they're going to come in here and handcuff you.
You guys, let's see if she does what the others do, right? Now she's faced with her real consequence of her own actions.
Dude, shut up.
Now,
Book you
maybe?
for solicitation of first-degree murder on your husband. Your husband is well and alive.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, thank God. No, he doesn't want to see you.
There
He doesn't want to see you.
it is! Actually
You
happened!
better quit your playing. Listen to me. I want you to quit your acting and get this over with.
There it is!
Yes, you are. Okay. You know what? You need a real good attorney because we're going to show them the film where you say you're 5,000% sure you want him dead. You think I made that up? You think I made that up?
Then pre-watch it, chill out.
Exactly what's going to happen. I'm talking with you. When I leave this room, no other officer will ever talk to you again. The next time we see you is when you're in trial. Now, you can make it right here, or you're going to trial, and you're going to do life in prison. You want to cooperate with us, whatever you want to do.
That's aggressive.
It's over and done once I walk out. I'm not coming back in to talk to you. And no one else is either. What do you want to do before I leave here? Because the next officer comes here, going to handcuff you and take you to the jail.
See my husband, please.
No, he doesn't want to see
No,
you.
I'm not saying aggressive towards her. I mean, I just mean like, I'm surprised they're not going for information, however, they're just going to go in straight up with the results.
He doesn't want to see you. I'm leaving now. We don't have an officer coming here and cuff this person.
They don't need to? We'll see.
I don't know what's going on, please.
Well, we'll see.
We'll go ahead and arrest you for solicitation first degree murder.
What's happening, please?
Can you stand up?
Stand up, please.
Dahlia is then granted her fraudulent wish and comes face to face with her husband.
Oh my God.
It's about time. It's about time we did this. It's about time.
Hi.
Get away with our best deals of the season at the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. With new cars arriving daily, it's the perfect time to get a Hyundai. Sign in drive today on select vehicles with zero due-it signing, zero down payment, and zero security deposit during the final days of the Getaway Sales Event.
God.
Okay.
Come here, please. Come here. Mike, come here. Come here, please. Come here. Why not? I didn't do anything to you. Mike, come here, please. Come here.
the juice out of this one.
Dahlia was given roughly 15 minutes in her cell to calm down and have reality sink in. She was then brought back to the interrogation room, where 2 less confrontational detectives would pursue a confession. They were hoping the immediate switch from hostility to patience would influence her compliance.
I told you.
Step your mortal authority.
Yeah. Based on us watching the videos, we understand that he knows that she's been arrested for rights. He's asking easy to answer questions that don't hurt anybody. Just get the person talking. Once they have a foot in the door, they're gonna start flowing like a dam, dude. We've seen it. You're like a dam.
Did you understand your rights? You didn't understand?
Eye for an eye. There is no escape. Inazuma shines eternal.
What? I'll go ahead and do it again. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me. Okay, you understand your Fifth Amendment?
Illusion shattered. And step. Delves into death. Rack and ruin. More speed.
Emergency?
I didn't feel comfortable doing any other one. Sorry, I
No problem. No problem. You mind if I call you Dahlia?
Today, you witness your reckoning.
Can you explain what happened today? What's going on here?
Eye for an eye.
Well,
Flags out.
now, slowly.
And step. Strike is one. Shine down.
You should have set up. I got fuck on it.
Flood of frost. I condemn you.
Why you laughing? You got absolutely clapped on it.
More speed.
You know that you are arrested today.
Shadows of fate. There is no escape. And leap. Eye for an eye. Let us. Illusion shattered. Torn to oblivion.
You're being arrested for soliciting.
At this point, what was lying about this? This is like things that she already did. Like, okay, like she knows. Why she's bother lying is so useless.
Okay.
There is no escape.
You'll stand upon your tomb, though you know it not.
And that's why.
She's not playing dumb. She is dumb.
Experience an eon of suffering.
Let me score.
You have plenty of evidence to back it up. Okay? So,
Eye for an eye.
the right to money, we'll give you an opportunity to
Your grand finale.
and maybe get a lot off your chest and tell us the truth. That's what we want to hear.
The evidence against her was overwhelming, hence the lack of interrogation techniques being initiated. The detectives feel that this is an open and shut case, and whether the suspect chooses to confess at this moment or not, they believe the eventual outcome will be the same.
I mean, this has been worked for a couple of days now. It's not just the first day we're doing this, reference to this case. And we have a lot of information.
Eye for an eye. There is no escape. Now you shall perish.
You know, we'll know when you're lying to us and all that.
Shine down.
It's done. It's over with now. You know,
Rack and ruin.
I'm just confused.
tell us the truth. That's all we want to hear.
If they end up getting an attorney, why not get it now? Like this could ever help. This could never help her.
I know it's hard to commit to that, but
the police are there to help themselves, not her. So, I mean,
Freeze to the core.
the good thing about this whole thing is, and what the tragedy was prevented today. You could look at it that way, you know? That's simple.
yeah.
Big tragedy, I mean, someone's life, so
Everything's on tape, Dahlia. There's no denying it. You know? Everything's on tape. And that's not a flaw. So.
You gotta understand this, okay? Dahlia, listen to me for a second, okay? Listen to me for a second, okay?
Oh, okay. Free to go
This is not
now.
our first day, okay? It's not, definitely not our second day, all right? This is an ongoing investigation, all right? Not only do we have your videotape, we have every conversation that you've had leading to this point.
Yeah, you're toast, man.
So for you to sit here and deny that you haven't done anything, it's not gonna help. Every little thing that you've done since this started, we've been involved in it. You understand that? I mean, I'm just telling you the truth. That's the truth. All right. Well, unfortunately, not going
Okay,
home.
dude. Okay.
You're looking at some serious charges here.
You want to go home? Thank you.
You understand that you made the attempt to hire somebody to kill your husband. That's how serious this is. Okay, you can sit here and shake your head and deny it, but I'm gonna tell you right now, all right, when the jury and the judge sees that videotape of you having this conversation, making a deal, all right, that's how far you went, all right. It wasn't it. It's not about denying it. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything, because the video, the audio, it's not gonna lie, all right, and all the evidence that we have collected throughout this investigation.
Interesting.
You sound like a fool right now denying this. Because, like my partner just said, everything's on tape. Video and audio. I know, but you're not going home. You see? You're being arrested, so you're not going home.
Oh, that door though, Jesus Christ!
I know, but you can't. It's impossible. You're going to the Palm Beach County Jail after this. You can't go home. You're being arrested. This is a game. In your mind, it might be a little game, but this is very, very serious. Murder? Are you kidding me?
Dahlia refuses to give any sort of acknowledgement whatsoever, even after being confronted with the hidden camera footage. She was then taken to the Palm Beach Detention Center, professing her innocence the entire way. When she finally got to jail, she accepted the offer to make a phone call. Now, try and imagine yourself in her position. Now think of the absolute last person on planet Earth that you would call at that moment.
Okay.
What's up? Nothing, man. I don't want to fight with you. Honestly, I can't help you. Don't you understand what just happened? What they're saying is not true. How is that possible? Like, I'm sitting there. It's not true. It's not possible. You wouldn't even give me 6 minutes to talk to you, but it's not possible. What they're saying is not true. How in the hell did I hear you see it? I heard what you heard. It's not true. I heard what you heard and I saw what you saw. Everything they showed you, they showed you. And how is it not? How are you telling me that? I have given you my word that it's not true.
What Dahlia is doing here is known as gaslighting, a textbook form of manipulation used by psychopaths, sociopaths, and all those with narcissistic personality disorder. She is trying to cultivate doubt into Michael's mind by making him question his own perceptions.
Yeah, but that was terrible.
She does this by using persistent denial and misdirection to try and destabilize his thought process. Yet the hole that Dahlia had dug for herself on this occasion seems a little bit too deep for her device to have any sort of effect.
Dad, I couldn't help you if I wanted to. Like, please, I need an attorney. Can you please help me? That's not true. Your brother was here and I spoke to him. He's gonna go talk to your mom. I called them for you already, right? This is not true. I understand it too. Look, how do you explain what I saw and heard? Like, I am limited on my phone call. You know more than anybody. It's not true. I thought so I can talk to you. What did it say? I saw it. I heard it. I saw what you saw and I heard what you heard. Okay, you said you wanted to have me killed. I heard that. It's not true. That is not true. How is it not true? How can you believe that? I heard your voice. How can you believe it? It isn't the point. I heard you say it. It's not. I heard what you heard and it's not.
What? It's not what?
What did I hear then? I heard you say. I heard the tape. Okay, I heard the tape and I saw pictures and I saw the whole 9 yards. I saw all of it.
The assumption that everyone in this summer's home is naive. It's not true.
How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a guy a parking lot? How would you make a
got used to
Explain
living
that.
in the mountains
I'm
alone.
sitting on the phone. I will tell you when I see you in person.
What?
I can't come there anyway. I'm not allowed there. That's not true. Who said that? They tell you that on purpose.
What?
That's not true. I don't know what you could tell me. Even if, let's pretend that, oh, it's all better. I can't, they're charging your ass. Don't you get it? Like, I didn't do anything. Please. I don't know what to say to you. I can't help you. It's out of my hand. You're not even trying. What am I supposed to do? You're supposed to have me an attorney, please, so I can talk to you.
What?
The whole arm doesn't distinguish friend from foe. And there's clearly a
Whatever it was, I saw it. I heard your voice clearly. What? I don't understand. Did not say those things. Period. So how did they get your voice on that
period.
tape recorder? I'm limited with my time, please. You gotta be kidding me, man. Italian, I heard you say that shit. Okay? I'm telling you right now, okay? You can't fix it. How are you gonna tell me that you didn't say it, you didn't do it? When I saw you say it, and I saw you do it.
Period.
How I was when they told me what supposedly happened to you, how I got, how I was, and how everything. Can you meet me in person so I can talk to you? No.
No, man. No shot.
Why should I? Because you know me. I never, ever in my wildest dreams ever want that for you, ever.
Ever.
Well, you said it, Diane. No, I did not say anything. Period. I didn't.
No shot you actually fought for this,
I don't
though.
know how you're gonna actually have the nerve to sit here and lie to me now. I can't help you even if I wanted to. Do you get it? Why don't you want to? It's out of my hands. You're not even trying. It's different if you're trying. You're not even trying. What can I possibly do for you? I don't get it. What can I do? You're not even trying. Trying what? I'm sitting here like a dumbass.
Guys, I feel weird about saying this. I feel like he's considering it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Daddy, I'm gonna give you some advice, and you need to listen. You're gonna be lying around in there for a little while, a couple days.
I don't know.
You need
Maybe I'm.
dumbass.
Guys, I feel weird about saying this. I feel like he's considering it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Daddy, I'm gonna give you some advice, and you need to listen. You're gonna be lying around in there for a little while, a couple days.
I don't know.
You need to just try and relax and just go with it. And keep to yourself and don't say a lot. I love you. Everybody treated me awful, sir. I couldn't do anything to you. You nothing. I didn't want to do anything awful to me. I can't help you.
What? That is so weird.
I can do to help you.
So fucking weird.
You know what I'll do? You know what I'll do for you? Seriously? What? Sign my house back over to me. I'll help you, Mom, immensely.
Damn!
Give me my house back.
Yeah, dude! Give him the fucking house back!
What?
Yeah!
I'll have the papers sent over to you somehow. You'll sign them over to me, and then I will help your mother. Okay? I'm not signing anything.
Oh, come on!
I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I can't help you.
Come on. Maybe.
You're thinking about. I just offered to help you, and again, you had the balls to say no to me. You just basically said you to me, which is hilarious considering your situation and considering what just happened today. Alright?
Oh, come on!
I knew that wasn't going to happen, so I can't help you.
Come on. Maybe.
You're thinking about. I just offered to help you, and again, you had the balls to say no to me. You just basically said you to me, which is hilarious considering your situation and considering what just happened today. Alright?
Dahlia called her mother soon after, who was already informed of the situation by
Damn.
Michael and appeared to be a little bit more understanding over the whole situation.
Hello?
Understanding?
I know that, yes, I know. I try now. I know. Okay, so you want me to call? I need you to call Mike in New York. I called already and I called everybody knows. What is it you want me to do? Sorry, exactly. I'm in the county jail. I need you to call. Did Mike say is he coming? Everybody's coming, brother. We're going to go ahead and get the lawyer, okay? Don't worry. Where are you? Are you in Goncourt?
Wait, she did what?
Dude, no way, this fucking bitch.
Okay, well, but right now we're gonna need to have a lawyer first, okay?
She's still gonna throw punches from all the way back in jail. It's insane.
Dahlia spent 20 months in jail.
Her ego is so hurt that she's still gonna throw punches from all the way back in jail through a fucking telephone.
Before standing trial
Insane.
in April 2011. Her defense was bizarre. They claimed Michael DiPolito was a fan of reality TV, and the murder for hire plot was a hoax, just so he could get on television.
I'm just having fun with it. You know, I'm with you.
You having fun with me? Let me ask you something. Is this fun, Mr. DiPolito?
This sucks.
Okay. Was it... No. Was it fun when you went to court? Horrible. Okay. So, is there anything funny about this proceeding at all, Mr. DiPolito?
The questions you're asking me, some of them, yeah.
You don't like them, do you?
It's ridiculous. I am not. We're not
What
here
is
to-
happening? I'm lost. Guys, I'm genuine about this. Is this an actual skit or something? Through like a TV show or something?
Dude,
or is this the actual court case itself?
Well, I might as well. You might as well put me up next. I mean, what are we doing here?
The verdict came a month later on May 13th. The jury needed just 3 hours of deliberation.
Verdict, we the jury find as follows. As to count one, we find the defendant guilty of solicitation to commit custody.
Good.
We find the defendant guilty.
Lost it.
Okay.
Just so he could get on television. Fan of reality TV, and the murder for hire plot
Through a fucking telephone.
before standing trial
Insane.
in April 2011. Her defense was bizarre. They claimed Michael DiPolito was a fan of reality TV, and the murder for hire plot was a hoax, just so he could get on television.
I'm just having fun with it. Come on, I'm with you.
You having fun with me? Let me ask you something. Is this fun, Mr. DiPolito?
This sucks.
Okay. Was it... No. You having fun with me? Let me ask you something. Is this fun, Mr. DiPolito?
This sucks.
Okay. Was it... arrested? No. Was it fun when you went to court?
Horrible.
Okay. So, is there anything funny about this proceeding at all, Mr. DiPolito?
The questions you're asking me, some of them, yeah.
You don't like them, do you?
It's ridiculous. I am not. We're not.
What
here
is
to-
happening? I'm lost. Guys, I'm genuine about this. Is this an actual skit or something? Through like a TV show or something? Or is this the actual court case itself?
Well, I might as well. You might as well put me up next. I mean, what are we doing here?
The verdict came a month later on May 13th. The jury needed just 3 hours of deliberation.
Verdict, we the jury find as follows. As to count one, we find the defendant guilty of solicitation to commit custody.
Good.
If you find the defendant guilty, do you find that there is a firearm included in the solicitation? Yes.
And you and I have spoken previously about you wanting to share some comments with the court as the judge considers the appropriate sentence in this case.
Yes, I do. I have no words to explain why this unfortunate event happened. And I am sorry. But we make mistakes.
Breaking up is hard to do, but your old habits have got to go. Fall for routine, you'll really
No.
love it.
A second chance.
What?
That is not dangerous.
Damn. Dude, they really went in
This goes for a lot
on the
of topics,
detail.
okay? I have to always say this, chat. I hate the word mistake. Some people use it in a lot of scenarios. A mistake is when you do something once, like, oh, mistake. These are hundreds, thousands of meticulously done actions. These are thousands of stacked, in order, synchronized mistakes to achieve a certain goal. It's not a mistake. It's a fucking disaster. I hate the word mistake. I hate it so much.
Thank you. It's good.
What? Do I need to tell her or something?
Let me just start off by saying, you know, when I married my wife, I was very much in love with her. And I thought we were doing things that normal married people do. And I was a very good husband. And I provided everything we needed. And, you know, that being said, lo and behold, you know, that wasn't the case. I don't know who these people are talking about, but it's not that girl. You know, and I feel bad. I don't even want to be here. Since this started, I've always put my hand down. Give me my house. Let's be done with it. I'll beg the judge to even do whatever. I don't personally gain anything from this. You know, the difference between me and I guess what's going on here, you know, I went to prison. You know how I got there? I said I did it. Yeah, I did it. Let's get this over with and handle it. You know, that hasn't happened here. I mean, this girl doesn't feel sorry for anything. She still doesn't think she did anything.
Damn, clapped.
And believe me, I don't
Holy
want to get up
fuck.
here and be nasty, but the reality is I sit and listen to this. Even today, we're talking about a retrial. Retrial for what? I mean, what is it we're doing? Who didn't understand what happened here? They still don't want to admit anything happened. Nothing bad happened. It's all good. Let's just all go home and it's fine. I'm not okay. You know, my father died. I was supposed to have been able to travel to see him. I didn't get to see my dad. You know, my dad's dead. And,
Jesus.
Damn.
you know, that was part of my plan. Get off probation, go see my family, spend time with my father. If she would have owned it like a normal person and would have owned up to something, I would respect that. But instead, when I get to court, I hear that I want a reality television show. As soon as we walk out here, you know they're filing for an appeal. You know why? Because they think everybody in this room is stupid. That's why. Because we're all stupid, and they're smarter than us. And nobody did anything. And God, she's a great girl. You know, when I met her, I thought all those things. I don't want to offend anybody, and believe me, I feel sorry for everybody that's in here crying. But you know what? I got to feel sorry for myself. Nobody's helping me. My mother had a nervous breakdown. I'm like, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. You know, I just don't know how I'm feeling some days. And it's just not fair. Like I said, and I mean this from my heart, I wish we weren't here. I wish she would have did anything but what she did.
Why is this guy so good?
You guilty, Ms. DiFilippo, of solicitation to commit first-degree murder. So my task is to figure out what an appropriate sentence would be, somewhere between 48 months and 30 years in the Department of Corrections. How do I
30.
rehabilitate you from what you have done? And I think that's a function of you know, spinning your moral compass. I think your moral compass is askew. I think that
wait a minute.
It's something that it's not like getting a drug addict off drugs or an alcoholic off alcohol, but rehabilitation, I hope that occurs as part of this sentence. A big variable, and the one that's most conspicuous, is punishment. Impose a sentence to punish bad behavior, criminal behavior, and that's going to be a large component of this sentence. And also a valid factor in imposing a sentence is retribution. And retribution is giving society the event, the outlet.
Dude.
That person got what
Like, when you're playing the actual story, like, she could double tap it. What's the deal?
What weighs most in tailoring a sentence for you?
Do you need a gadget or something?
And it has to do with the facts of the case, and it has to do with who you are and what you were thinking. And here's the way I see it. I think that a lot of it is what were your motivations? What were you doing? What were you thinking when that was going on? And I just come to the most obvious conclusion that you were motivated by greed, by avarice.
Oh, okay, he's getting there.
That you were being beaten, you were defending yourself, that you were a battered wife, that you were an alcoholic, that you were the victim of child abuse, that you were somehow acting in defense of yourself, even under a misguided notion. There's none of that here.
Ooh,
all of your conduct was just for self-indulgence, and just trying to take every bit of money that you could get a hold of so that you could go on and live this fast life. And as early as March, you began this relentless campaign to get rid of your husband. First, you're thinking, well, I'll just get him sent off to prison and that would be good enough. You used guile and sophistry to dupe others into a web of deception. You were the puppet master that was pulling all the strings. You weren't acting at the direction of somebody else.
Guys, who did this poll in the chat? Who did that?
You were the one calling the shots. And you were engaged in a course of conduct, not over some momentary lapse of good judgment. This wasn't like, I ran a red light, I shouldn't have done that. What was I thinking? I had the gun in my hand and I shot it because I was angry. It was weeks and months that you continued with
That's what I was saying earlier.
schemes to try to rid yourself of your husband that was just something out of a novel. And it was horrible to watch it unfold as the trial testimony came out. It was pure evil. After those attempts to have your husband taken out of the picture by way of sending
Here
him back to
comes.
prison for a long period of time, and when you learn that it wasn't good enough to have the house in your name, that if you wanted to sell the house, you were still going to need his signature, I think that's when it started to turn to even more sinister behavior.
Mr. Salnick indicates that, being remorseful or saying I'm sorry really doesn't mean
You'll regret.
And I disagree. I think, even today, Mr. DiPolito is still your husband. I think that I'm sorry, it's my fault, I did it, would have gone a long way. Not only for his healing, but it would have perhaps suited your own purpose. But I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard an ounce of remorse. The opposite of that. When confronted with the obvious
No, I like
facts,
that. I like that he's stalling it. I think it's good.
Testimony as to who you are is when you're in the police station and your husband walked by and looked in and you were begging him, tell him this is all wrong, tell him this is all wrong. And then later on the telephone, you were saying, he was confronting you with the evidence. I saw the tapes. I saw the videotape of you trying to have me killed. And you just cold-bloodedly said to him,
No.
I saw what you saw, and I'm telling you that's not true. And it was astonishing, the cold-blooded denial that you're willing to go to try to avoid the obvious. You have a certain facet of who you are with your mom, your sister, your brother, and they see the good in you.
Forgot the period. Yeah, period.
As siblings and parents should. But who...
Sam here is anxious he won't be approved for that new credit card, so he's procrastinating. Like, really procrastinating. But that changes now, because Sam looked for Karma Confidence on Credit Karma to see curated credit card offers with outstanding approval odds. So what will he use his new credit card for? Makes sense. See your offers and apply with Karma Confidence today. Credit Karma, from free credit scores to tailored card offers and everything in between. Download the app today.
Sentencing you to 20 years in the Department of Corrections.
Dahlia's first encounter with retribution was a big one, yet it didn't last long. The sentence was thrown out on a technicality 1 month later, and she was able to remain under house arrest for 6 years awaiting her next trial. Her second trial began in 2016.
Dahlia DiPolito takes the stand with an unusual defense.
Dahlia says it was all part of a plan she hatched with her then-husband, Michael DiPolito, and former lover, Mohammed Shahadi, to get famous. Her now ex-husband, Mike DiPolito, says he couldn't wait to see what she'd say in court.
Let me know when she's going. I'll be sitting in the back with popcorn. I'd love to see this.
In an exclusive pre-trial interview in 2020, this past December, DiPolito said she's just misunderstood.
Who is Dahlia DiPolito? Understanding, sweet, and compassionate.
Manipulative, conniving.
I hate this. I can't do it.
Malicious.
I can't do it.
Heist, and trapped.
Her attorney, Brian.
Fuck all of this! This is disgusting!
She's just misunderstood.
Who is Dahlia DiPolito? Understanding, sweet, and compassionate.
Manipulative, conniving. I got more than 3. Malicious,
baited, enticed, and entrapped.
Her attorney, Brian Claypool, says Dahlia is the innocent victim of a fame-hungry police department.
What the police department
Why?
did is they found out she's an attractive woman. In their minds, they're like ching, ching, ching.
This is a perfect skit. There's no question about it that the Boynton Beach Police Department was dead set on manufacturing a crime here.
How damaging are these tapes to your client?
They are damaging because people have formed opinions.
Our job in the second trial is to provide the proper context for the jury to see that this is not really what it looks like.
Claypool claims she only kept up the act because Mohammed threatened her with a gun.
He threatened to hurt me and to hurt my family.
Did you believe he would?
Absolutely, yes.
So she was threatened
Motherfucker.
to act out a hoax on a videotape? I mean, do you understand how ridiculous that sounds to a lot of people watching this?
Yeah, that's not ridiculous. You've got a 6'2", 230-pound man with a gun.
Saying you will do this YouTube hoax?
No shot.
5,000% sure, not 100% sure, not 1,000% sure, but 5,000% sure.
What the actual fuck I just watched?
I look at that video and I see somebody who's struggling with whether she's really sure.
She's struggling? What?
Why? Well,
how is she struggling if she's 5,000% sure?
Well, you might find that humorous, but when I hear people say they're sure, I'm 110% sure.
Why didn't she just tell police her version of what happened?
I've asked her that question too. Oh, yeah, everybody. Hey, Sergeant, this was just a YouTube thing we were putting together. She was in a state of shock.
I couldn't react. I just completely froze. I wanted to get out of there, and I felt paralyzed. The tape was a show. It was a tape. That was the purpose of it.
You were acting in those tapes.
Yes.
But you're telling the truth now.
Yes.
Why should we believe you?
Because it's what happened. The truth.
State of Florida
What?
Defendant. Verdict. We, the jury, find as follows.
That's the truth, man.
As to count one, we find the defendant guilty of solicitation to commit first-degree murder as charged in the information. So say we all, the 16th day of June, 2017, in West Palm Beach.
Dalia DiPolito was sentenced to 16 years in prison on July 21st, 2017. She was not given the possibility of parole, and her release date is set for August 24th, 2032. Her appeal was rejected by the Florida Supreme Court in September of 2019, and her sentence is now definitive. She is currently being held at the Lowell Correctional Institution in Gainesville, Florida, where she is expected to remain until the day of release. She will be 50 years old.
I'm so unhappy about this though.
If your crazy prostitute wife that you gave your house to tries to get you thrown in jail.
No, it's unfair because one, she showed no remorse. She didn't admit to it. She even asked for a retrial, wasted everybody's time, and on top of that, had the liberty to live in her own home and Okay, chat, we'll give it a try with how it goes.
Who 2-year-old, most of you will already be aware of who 2-year-old Kaylee Anthony was. The majority will know that she sadly passed away at some point between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. on June 16, 2008. Her death is undoubtedly the most heartbreaking part of this story, and we only need a single word to epitomize her short life. Tragic. But the primary subject of this video is not about the life nor the death of Kaylee Marie Anthony. It is in fact about the psychological constitution of her mother, 22-year-old Casey Marie Anthony. So rather than tragic, you'll find the words disturbing and perplexing to be far better suited to the theme of this video.
Yeah, trigger warning, chat, these videos are kind of dark, okay? I think they're really good, they're kind of dark, so if you're not kind of fragile, just be careful.
One of the many reasons this case is exceptional is how the present day's topic of discussion has little to do with the actual occurrences of the crime, but in fact the subsequent developments that follow. People are no longer talking about how or even why Kaylee Anthony passed away. They are instead talking about the manner in which a mother responded to her daughter's death. Given all the acquired information we now have, even if we afford this person the most morally acceptable possibility of what occurred, her manner of conduct was still unimaginably cold-blooded. This is driven home by the fact she was evaluated by 2 clinical psychologists during her time in custody, and not a single abnormality was discovered with relation to her psychological state. In other words, there were no signs of mental illness whatsoever. And this makes the character study of Casey Anthony just as fascinating as it is terrifying. A human being's state of mind is something most accurately assessed with the full capacity of hindsight. So before we evaluate our first segment of raw footage, here's a quick rundown of each of the essential moments that will give you a broader understanding of what we're actually dealing with. On the 15th of July, 2008, Orlando police received a call from Cindy Anthony, the grandmother of the victim.
Jeez, this is crazy.
Is your daughter there? Yeah, can I speak with her? Hello? Hello? Yes. Can you tell me what's going on a little bit? I'm sorry? Can you tell me a little bit what's going on? My daughter's been missing for the last 3 days. You nearly got him! And you know who has her? I know who has her. I tried to contact her. I actually received a phone call today. Now from a number that is no longer in service. I did get to speak to my daughter for about a moment, about a minute. Who has her? Do you have a name? Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
Well, this makes no sense. This has
To
been
give
no
some
sense already.
context to this bizarre phone call, Casey Anthony had left the family home with her daughter a month earlier, stating that she had a work assignment in Tampa and would be traveling.
Judge, maybe I'm overreading this, but I feel like when people say, "Oh, I actually just got a phone," like I feel like you already tell she's lying.
The entire time. Kaylee's grandparents
like
would
a weird
ask repeatedly over the following month to see, or at least speak to their granddaughter, but Casey claimed each and every time that she was too busy with work, and that Kaylee was with a nanny who went by the name Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, or Zanny for short. On July 15th, exactly 6 weeks after Kaylee was last seen by her grandparents, George Anthony received a phone call that the family car was at the impound lot. This immediately alerted suspicion, as it was the same car Casey had supposedly been traveling with for work. Suspicion turned into panic once they picked up the vehicle, and George discovered a strong odor emanating from the trunk, one that he recognized from his years as a police officer, and found comparable to that of human decomposition. Through contacting one of Casey's friends, her parents managed to track her down at her boyfriend's house in Orlando, where they were found smoking marijuana and watching TV. When inquired over the whereabouts of her daughter, Casey stated that she had been kidnapped 31 days before by a supposed babysitter. It was at that moment Cindy Anthony called 911.
Yeah, like.
Illusion shattered. Eye for an eye. Let me scrub.
Why are you calling now? Why didn't you call 31 days ago?
Yeah.
I've been looking for her and
Rack and ruin. More speed.
What?
Now let's indulge in the world of fantasies for just a moment and pretend all of what Casey had just stated was true. She had indeed been working, and her daughter was in fact kidnapped by the babysitter a month earlier. The immediate premise most would gather would be that Casey had no...
Guys, who would ever believe this lie? Let alone a jury, but any normal human, anybody at all.
Regard for her daughter whatsoever.
Nobody would buy this shit.
In the 911 call, there was no urgency nor concern in her voice, and rather than her volunteering information, which most parents would do in a frantic manner, it had to be acquired by the dispatcher through repeated inquisition. All you have to do is compare Casey's dialogue to that of her mother in the same phone call. One was indifferent, while the other was distraught. Police would have picked up on this immediately. Even without the bizarre phone call, the circumstances alone would make Casey the prime suspect in her daughter's disappearance. She was immediately interviewed as a witness, which, unbeknownst to her, was the detective's first step in locking her into as many lies as possible.
The day right now is July 16th, 2008. The time right now is 11 hours. I'm Detective Melvin here at the Sheriff's Office. I am with Casey Anthony, is that correct? Casey, you understand this is being recorded?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Her lie was dumb already, and then she thought that she thought that they bought it enough that.
Just Casey, I got a call here.
We'll just watch.
We put Casey to a babysitter's house. Who is this babysitter?
Her name is Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez.
How long had you known Zenaida?
Almost 4 years, every 4 years, Christmas this year.
And where did you meet her? Who did you meet her with?
There is no escape.
I met him at Nickelodeon Universal. I met him. She was his son.
Everybody has 3 names.
Did Jeffrey still work at Universal? How long has it been since you left?
I condemn you.
We moved up to North Carolina for a short time and moved down to Jacksonville.
More speed.
How would you characterize your relationship with Miss Anthony?
More or less acquaintances.
You very good friends?
Not very good friends.
Did you ever work at Universal
Damn.
Studios?
I did.
When did you work at Universal Studios?
Approximately 2002.
How long did you work there for?
1 year.
Did you ever work there at the same time that Casey Anthony?
I don't think so.
You don't recall ever seeing her?
Never.
Did you ever introduce Casey Anthony to a woman by the name of Zenaida Gonzalez?
I did not.
Time to scout.
Did you ever use Zenaida Gonzalez as a nanny?
No, sir.
Do you have any children?
No, sir.
Have you lived in the Orlando area consistently since 2002?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever lived in Jacksonville?
No, sir.
Have you ever lived in North Carolina?
No, sir.
Did you see Casey Anthony in the month of June of 2008?
No, sir.
When was the last time you spoke to him? You know, telephone?
Jesus.
I can find a number for him. I don't know if I not.
So you
Wait,
met
she
Zenaida
tailored
through
the
Jeffrey
whole web of
Hopkins?
lies from him.
And your son Zach Hopkins, I guess, is not the watch over Zach? And when did you start watching over your son?
It's been within the last year and 2 days that she started.
At least
How
good
would you
luck
normally
doesn't
drop off? How would you
discriminate by
normally do
clan.
exchange with your Collins and I? Would you drop yourself off, meet you somewhere?
I would usually drop her off. For a few months, we would go over to Jeff's house. He lived over in Avalon Park
When you would go to Jeff's house for?
to drop off me. Before Zenaida would go
For a
watch
few
her
months?
with the kids.
More speed.
It was in a nice centralized area in a decent sized house. It was good for the two of them.
About to say, you drop off kid at midnight and walk her through drop her off
few
to
months?
work. Okay. Get off of work.
Wait, is she trying to say that she dropped off her child like for months?
I got off of work, left Universal, driving back to pick up
More
Caitlin,
speed.
like
Oh,
normal
not at
day.
once. No, okay.
And I show up to the apartment, knock on the door, nobody answers. So I call Zenaita's cell phone and it's out of service. I didn't really want to come home. I wasn't sure what I'd say about not knowing where she was. Still hoping that I would get a call or find out that Caitlin was coming back so that I could get her. And
Yeah, I get it.
going to my boyfriend Anthony's house. He lives in Sutton Place.
Did you talk to Anthony about what happened with Kaylee? Can you talk to anyone about Kaylee, about the incident with Kaylee? Or the fact that
Outside of
she's missing?
a couple of people, a couple of mutual friends.
Who did you talk to about it?
I talked to Jeffrey Hopkins. I talked to Juliette Lewis. She's one of my coworkers at Universal.
She works, you still work at Universal?
Yes.
What do you do at Universal?
University.
What is Julia, what position is she?
She was also in the organization.
Juliette Lewis doesn't exist. Casey had briefly worked at Universal, but hadn't been employed there for over 2 years prior to this interview. And she wasn't an event coordinator. She stood behind a kiosk and sold photos of people after they had been on the Incredible Hulk ride.
Do you have a number for Julia?
Some of the more recent members, her number just
But
changed.
why?
She just moved back. She, within the last 2 months, has finished moving out to me.
Actual bozo.
So Julia doesn't work at the Universal?
No, she doesn't.
What's the reason, I asked you this before and I'll ask you for the record, what's the reason you didn't call the police before?
I think part of me was naive enough to think that I could handle this myself, which obviously I couldn't.
Well met.
And
No way.
I was scared that something would happen to her if I did notify the authorities or me involved.
Okay, nobody believes that. Nobody would ever.
Your potential
Rack and ruin. Unleash. Cryo incarnate.
Is there anything about this story that can be improved? Is there anything you want to change or reverse from what you've already told me? 2,000 acres to your child, Kaylee. You hurt Kaylee or leave her somewhere and you're worried that if you find that out that you're going to look at you the wrong way.
Yeah.
Zenaida took your child without your permission and has her.
The last person you can see.
She's Puerto Rican, she's Dominican, she's white.
She's mixed. She's black.
Is there any underlying cause to why Zenaida would take your child?
Nothing that,
Should make any statements to you about,
only how much she loves Kaylee and how great of a kid she is.
and when you talk to Jeffrey afterwards, I'm assuming that Jeffrey's child is still with him.
His child is still with him.
Should Zenaida have family up in New England, New York?
Yes, she has family down south. Her mother, her sister, brothers in New York.
Why is she spamming lies though?
Grew up there.
Telling the police. It doesn't make any sense though.
Zenaida, the nanny, doesn't exist. Casey never had a babysitter. Being the retrospective viewer, we have the benefit of knowing these are outright fabrications, and these meticulous details are a textbook sign of a pathological liar. She speaks eloquently and naturally, as if her dialogue is a reflex response to the questions she's being asked, when in reality, each of these minor details are calculated and deliberately placed for the purpose of deception, and the nonchalant, easygoing tone she employs is used to camouflage anxiety. Casey has not only become accustomed to manipulation, she has become extremely skilled in how to use it effectively. It takes us to the concept of nurture and how it most likely had a significant impact under current circumstances. If we go through what we know about Casey's domestic history, there are numerous occasions where she has gotten away with things that most
You're
would not,
fucking
simply
kidding.
due to the fact that she was able
So
to
autistic.
continuously lie
I fucking hate
without
this
conscience. A prime example
like
would
mechs.
be when she was
So
18
stupid.
years
I fucking
old
hate them.
and stopped attending class midway through her senior year.
Are you just
She
walking?
literally
Well,
skipped the
you're dead.
entire second half of her final year
Fuck you.
to go hang out with her older boyfriend. Her parents became suspicious on several occasions, yet each and every time, Casey had some whimsical excuse to which she was given the benefit of the doubt. Then, just days before graduation, her parents were informed by the school of her truancy and that she would not be graduating. When confronted, Casey's excuse was that her timetable was mixed up by the school, causing her to miss classes through no fault of her own. This is obviously a completely baffling excuse that no sane person would ever believe.
True.
Yet whether it be through denial or an overprotective nature, Casey's parents not only took her at her word, but even shielded her from the consequences of her actions. They lied to all their family friends that she graduated with honors, and even threw her an extravagant graduation party the day after. This is just one of the many occurrences where Casey faced no ramifications for her conduct. It seemed to give her the belief that no matter what she did, as long as she could spin one lie after another, or at least drag a lie out for as long as possible, everything would work itself out. The truth is that everything did work itself out when she was dealing with her parents, and she evidently thought the same rules applied with regard to national law and a missing child's investigation. After the initial statement you just heard, Casey was asked if she could take police to all places of interest. She happily obliged, and then proceeded to lead them to a multitude of fake addresses, which she had nothing to do with. She then took them to her supposed office at Universal Studios.
Because all those would be verifiable. Like, why would anybody lie about things that are verifiable? It doesn't make any sense, though.
And literally led 3 senior investigators to the very end of the building, taking over 25 minutes to walk to.
I wanted my hepatitis C gone.
I put off treating mine.
Epclusa treats all main types of chronic hep C. Whatever your type, Epclusa could be your kind of cure.
I just found out about mine.
I knew for years. Epclusa has a 98% overall cure rate.
I had no symptoms of hepatitis C.
Mine caused liver damage.
Epclusa is only one pill, once a day, taken with or without food for 12 weeks. Before starting Epclusa, your doctor will test if you have had hepatitis B, which may flare up and could...
Guys,
before she finally...
It's like, oh, I live here. No, you don't. It's this person. Okay, it doesn't exist. Oh, that's her cell phone. It's not connected. Like,
They turned around, put her hands in her back pockets, laughed, and admitted that she didn't work there. Completely dumbfounded, the detectives placed her under arrest and took before she finally turned around, put her hands in her back pockets, laughed, and admitted that she didn't work there. Completely dumbfounded, the detectives placed her under arrest and took her to a conference room in the building for what was essentially an interrogation.
Since I left you this morning, I've gone to every address in the building. I came over here and I already talked to all the employees. I found out all these names that you're giving me are people that either never worked here or have been fired for a long time. Okay. So where we are right now is in a position that doesn't look very good. Because obviously I know and you know that everything you tell me is all right, correct? Pretty much everything you told me, including where Kaylee is.
That I don't know what she is.
Sure you. And here's listen, let me explain something. Looking at you, I know that everything that you told me is a lie. I am very confident, just by having talked to you this short period of time.
I literally am not sleeping on it. I don't know. Somebody that I was
Shine down.
I wonder. Let's try it.
Outrider Amber, report.
You can put a lot more together than I think you realize to put together. My question to you is, we're in this office spot. Our purpose of coming here was to do what?
She is 6 years.
No, you're not answering my question. You want to help? You have a phone on you? Well, a good starting point is to answer the question.
What exactly is team?
And if you will ignore that, like I never asked it, you walk in some other direction.
I condemn you. There is no escape.
No, I want you to tell me how lying to us is going to help us find our God. Well, then the main thing you want to do is find your God. And you don't think lying to us is going to help us find him. Why would you do that?
I'm scared, and I know I'm running out of options. I don't know.
What are you scared of?
I'm scared of not being a daughter.
I'm a parent too. I was
Well met. Eye for an eye. Illusion shattered. Now you shall perish.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
I condemn you. Freeze to the core. Rack and ruin.
You think you're a bad mom, well, something happened to Kaylee and Kaylee's buried somewhere or a trash can somewhere, and you had something to do with it. Either way, right now, it's not a very pretty picture to paint. You're putting yourself in a very bad hurt.
Do your master's bidding. Manifest. Oh. Inazuma shines eternal. There is no escape. I condemn you. Shadows of fate. Leave my space.
These guys are taking no shit.
Illusion shattered. Unleash. Touché. Eye for an eye. There is no escape.
I can put these to good use. Trying to figure out what
Yeah, 31 days after.
my mom did. All of that stuff happened. Happened for a reason.
You're glad you saw your mom. You could have saw your mom. Why did you go to mom?
I saw my mom's reaction right off the bat, and it would have been the same from the get-go.
You're more afraid of your mom's reaction than you are if you ever see your daughter.
You know, I'm absolutely petrified. Absolutely petrified. I know my mom will never forgive me. I'm never going to forgive myself.
You said that there's flying the dog, right? That makes sense to you, correct?
What's happening?
I'm coming back to spaces that are familiar to me, that are familiar to her. Familiar situations that just maybe would help.
And she would have done that 5 weeks ago.
I know she's with someone else.
She's with someone else who she hid her from you for 5 weeks. While in person, who has hid your daughter from you for 5 weeks. Okay? Bring her to
Rack and ruin.
Look at her.
Illusion shattered.
If I didn't know where she was, if something would have happened, I would say that she was talking to her. She's with someone that I absolutely do not trust.
There is no eye for an eye.
I don't trust her now. Because of what?
Yeah, no shit. This is some brain dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Casey was then taken to the county jail, where she, in the evening hours, was able to make a phone call, and just happened to see her mother on the local news moments before speaking to her.
Well.
I'm not gonna gaslight her, right?
No, well, I guess I'm leaving. Later, losers.
That the mom is kind of like going hard. I don't know how the story's going to end or how the mom is going to be when her involvement, but the fact that she cares so much about, you know, human life and the baby, that she's going to go like that, it's kind of rolling her.
No.
More speed.
So much for fucking just standing here chilling.
On a whim?
Rack and ruin.
Jesus!
Casey appeared in the court the next morning and was initially denied bail by the judge.
Crazy
Cited his
witch!
reason was undeniable disregard for the welfare of her own child. She was kept in protective custody, and it would be 9 days until she received her first visit from her parents.
This is so weird.
Oh, not again. Later, suckers, baby. No way. Cunts.
Sorry, what's up? Chicken nuggets. Thank you.
Well, I guess I don't have it.
They're baiting her, right?
With a readership of over 46 million adults in America, having your missing child on the front cover of People magazine would seem as a godsend to most. Yet Casey's response is almost as if it's a lost cause.
I can put these to good use.
Setting aside morality and ethics for just a moment, Casey at this point would be emotionally exhausted. She had been sitting in an isolated jail cell for almost 2 weeks as the entire world was turning against her. Anyone in her position, guilty or otherwise, would be at near breaking point, and her composed exterior now finally slips. She, for a brief moment, allows herself to be vulnerable, and for perhaps the first time, expresses the pain of her situation. This is one of the few moments where Casey's true self is on display. Of itself, it's a touching moment between a mother and daughter. Yet if we add in the context of the surrounding elements, she is only expressing this pain for herself. Just a moment ago, when she saw her deceased daughter's face on her father's shirt, none of this emotion came out. The rest of the visit is extremely bizarre. Casey's parents try to extract any information they can about Kaylee's possible whereabouts, and each time are essentially dismissed by Casey as if they're asking pointless and irritating questions.
More speed. I can put these to good use.
The exchange switches back and forth from inquisitive and challenging to sympathetic and loving, and every time her parents stop inquiring over the case and show that they still care about Casey herself is when the tears come out.
Alright, maybe I have to hold it.
Rack and ruin.
Mixed feeling about this.
Seems in the right position.
Every time Casey's parents mention that people are willing to help with the search, Casey dismisses their credibility and even attacks some.
There's just so much in here, dude. I think it's like impossible to analyze.
Oh,
There's
it's
so much
puzzle.
in here. Just
Boo.
Characters while she's at it.
Why? Because this. No, like the parents, guys, it's still their daughter, okay? You know, but then it's like, okay, do they resent her? Do they know? Are they extracting information? Are they showing compassion because it gets to their goal, or because it's genuine? Do they have mixed feelings? Are they split in half? Like, there's a lot of depth here, man. It's tough, man. I think they're half baiting.
Oh well. What the fuck?
Guys, you not notice, chat? They all do it. They never cry when it's when things are bad, whatever, and when they whatever about all things that are going. Whenever they think about the consequences, they start crying, and then they use the crying to load all the bullshit, and they use the thing that they should be crying about. They just fucking load it all in there and they get it out while they're crying. It's just they all do it though, all of them.
More speed.
It's fucking disgusting.
What?
We get another glimpse at Casey's skill in fabricating information and her ability to intertwine specific details to afford her lies some credibility. These minor intricacies are what would make her extremely convincing if we didn't happen to know otherwise.
They never search by quality, they search by his
Oh, okay. Sure.
Time to scout.
Jesus. Baiting everybody.
More speed. Erase all threats. Illusion shattered. Sure.
Yeah, she's a sick person. I don't want to have a thing about the parents. I feel like people are gonna get mad or for one way or another in chat, whatever.
This was perhaps the first time Casey told the truth when speaking of her daughter's whereabouts, as she indeed wasn't that far away. Her attorney, Jose Baez, eventually managed to get her bail, and Casey was fitted with an electronic monitoring device and released on August 21st. She had spent just over 1 month in custody. 2 months later, police were granted permission to arrest Casey on the charge of first-degree murder. She was taken in for interrogation, but immediately requested her right to counsel. She was kept in the interview room while awaiting her attorney, and the released footage of that period is so bizarre to the point where it's almost comical. The detectives give off a passive, yet glaringly obvious vibe that lets Casey know exactly what they think, being that she is guilty of her daughter's probable death and a fundamentally terrible human being on every imaginable level. Casey's response to this is to essentially ignore it and act as if the discourse between them and the situation itself is an everyday occurrence. One that perhaps
please,
doesn't
man,
concern
I
the
wanna sleep tonight.
disappearance of his daughter, for which she is being charged for. You'll notice that she effortlessly maintains the same confident and talkative disposition that she had in her previous interviews with police. It's almost surreal to watch given the circumstance, and the visual element adds an entire new level to the absurdity.
I condemn you.
The first segment of footage shows the arresting officer waiting with Casey for the lead investigator to arrive. He initiates the conversation by bringing up the subject of Casey's parents. He asserts that he's worried about her, but the actual message he's putting across is that he essentially knows Casey is guilty and that she isn't fooling anyone. It's an indirect yet obvious accusation.
By ordinance divine. Freeze to the core. Now you shall perish. There is no obey. She delves into destiny. Transcendence.
Okay.
More speed. Rack and ruin. Vengeance will be mine. I condemn you. Shine.
I'll get up and say, yep, I heard it, she already invoked it. We can't use any of it. That's just the way it is. That's all that matters.
The detective here has essentially just asked Casey for the information he knows she has about her missing child. Rather than retaliate and refute the blatant accusation, Casey continues with her sharp responses of accordance, as if to say she agrees, and knows exactly where the detective is coming from. Yet although she apparently agrees, she offers no information or follow-up dialogue thereafter. It's so incredibly awkward, yet equally intriguing to watch.
When we did another case that I was involved in, they lost a confession. And I sat there and looked at you guys and I said,
That's not what's
who
important.
cares? We found her. We found her. He's going to get what was coming to him. That's not my job. And it works out. It works out in the end on all sides. It may not be comfortable for everybody. If I've done things that I get caught for, I'm not going to be comfortable, I can tell you that. It's just the way life is. It's not the end of the road. And that's what we have to keep moving.
Casey then casually brings...
It's such a 100 to 0, him saying like that he would put aside the rules to just find him, and her say with her story that she never called him.
Up the topic
5
of the
weeks
grand
in,
jury and the media surrounding her murder
and it's
trial.
her child.
She raises the questions as if she's talking about his favorite daytime TV show.
Yeah, but if the subpoena itself is just a regular grand jury subpoena, that's public records. It doesn't say what it's for, it doesn't say what case it's in, it just says yours.
Well, with them announcing that, there was going to be a
Grand jury.
obviously finding was still out, they knew who the grand jury was for. All the media said that it was from an inside source. That's where they all see it.
I can tell you what I think is from the media, but
I think it's garbage. That's the
that
best way of putting it.
doesn't make it any less necessary. Without them, I'll be quite honest, without the media, we're going to find because
Oh, I agree. It helps. The exposure has helped bring in so many tips for my daughter.
but at the same time, what it creates is it creates a monster that otherwise isn't necessary. The tips are what the tips are. If it was a local media only, it would be
Oh, there goes my health.
Yeah.
make it the national media.
You get the Nancy Grace.
Where you get the tips also. Come from Hawaii, it's gas okay. Okay, let me call Hawaii and let me send them out. Let me do that.
Fucking Hawaii.
because the local stations are going to cover that. It's contiguous to the state of Florida. It's not.
When people are only getting more information from the database,
Let me scribe. Rack and ruin.
Dude, she sounds deluded. I think she thinks she's good and she's gonna get out.
We're going to call them on their cell phone.
One way or another, she thinks, she's convinced that this is kind of helping almost.
I honestly can't. So they're a little tight.
Look at her, they're banging the fuck out of her.
Thanks for entertaining us. Just like you're going to get
Yeah.
Do you know Baez' phone number off the top of your head? How can I get his phone number?
I know it's Oxford.
What is that?
Forza.
I've identified myself using my hearing custody. And you have, you sign this, you want your attorney present.
Hey, it's Casey. I'm with Corporal Edwards.
So far, the only one who has an attorney in all those videos.
Sheriff's Department. We were looking down in yes. Answering your question. I'm not make sure I cut my hair. It was really short last year. I just started growing it back out this year. So. That's How's my dad's phone? Saw from the media, got a chance to talk to my mom. I was going to want to say this morning. Just exactly before you left. So.
Jeez. Everybody's struggling more than she is. It's so weird.
I told him last night. I know he was suspended and he had to answer whatever questions were asked him. I told him to do what he had to do.
Imagine you were Casey, but void of any wrongdoing whatsoever. Your daughter was kidnapped 5 weeks ago, and now a detective who thinks you're the culprit is relaying the agonizing moments of your father providing information for your arrest. No matter how stoic or self-controlled your nature, you would most likely be in tears or completely enraged at the overwhelming unjustness of the situation.
No, but you know what? This is actually good because she already showed that earlier. Remember she had the phone call and how she was mad at him for getting involved? Oh yeah, I saw your little cameo on camera. That's how she really feels. And she's gonna remove that weird anger and show him that, you know, oh yeah, I'm calm about this, but she's not.
This is something honestly.
But she's already shown this already.
Things. What are they used for?
That was kind of difficult to consider. I do have counsel on something. My attorney's always been close.
Is your attorney
And we agreed, him and I together, that we would all sit down together, him and I, you guys, and we entertain whatever questions you have.
There is no possible way that a defense attorney would actually sit down and, as Casey states, entertain any question the police have for him. Yet if we weren't paying close attention, we would take her at her word due to the eloquence of her dialogue and not realize everything she's saying is complete nonsense.
I wish I could just like see like the fucking map. Like, where's that? Those healing pillars.
No, it doesn't. That doesn't go both ways.
When Sergeant Allen was making a big deal, said, we want to talk to her. When can we talk to her? And he said, well, the doors are
What's fascinating is how instinctive and confident her assertions are. In any other circumstance, or even without the knowledge we have now, you would have no reason not to believe everything she's saying.
I've heard the words come out of his mouth himself, directed to other people that maybe didn't relay the message or didn't realize. I think a lack of communication is what people.
Why is she throwing her lawyer under the bus?
Everybody has the same goal with this different people. We all stole the field. I, as a mom, I know in my gut there's feeling as a parent. You know certain things about your child. You can feel that connection. And I still have that feeling, that presence. I know that she's alive. Whether we have a bucket load of evidence downstairs that contradicts that, says otherwise, or all you have is speculation. Or nothing at all. I mean, as every tip and every lead followed up on. Yeah.
Then she was fishing. I feel like she was fishing for information, even at a high cost, just to reassure herself and feel better.
Uh-oh.
This was essentially a direct confrontation.
What happened?
The detective has just told Casey they have sufficient evidence to prove her guilt. Casey doesn't refute or even respond to the accusation. She instead falls back to her ridiculous dialogue once again, hoping the confidence in her
Oh, well, I'm dead.
What she's actually saying.
Some of the same things to them, but they said we're at the end of the hallway. And I'm thinking we're at the end of the hallway and there's 2 doors. Which door are we going to go through? Or I guess this is, or at this point. And the final step is which door is locked.
Oh. Why?
Well, so there's no question, I guess. You can specify that as what your perspective is on that. Yeah, that's fine. I'll go ahead.
It's unfortunate that right when the pressure was starting to build, the second detective interrupts the exchange, and they both leave the room soon after. Casey waits alone for roughly 40 minutes before her attorney shows up.
He's going to ask you a question. You can say anything else about the answer.
Okay. Does this now? Oh, that's cool. That's actually really cool. It's kind of cute too.
Now, based on your request for us to call him and bring him here, he's here. So what we're going to try to do is give you a few minutes somewhere that's not recorded. No secrets, I told you. This ranger's ordered. I have to be able to approach my chambers right away.
The detective now guilefully takes Casey up on her previous offer, where she insisted they were willing to sit down with police and answer questions.
No shots.
But first, I need you to tell him, in your own words, that you'd like to take the opportunity to deal with us like you made that request in the past.
Oh, come on. No.
I told him the same thing.
They know for a fact they would never go for that.
Any questions that they have, we would listen and discuss it. We have something.
The odds are against us.
Do you want to speak to me in private?
Yes.
So we can verify this.
Yes.
It would come as no surprise that no conference was to be had. Casey was instead taken to the county jail, where she would remain for 2.5 years until the trial. Once this footage was released,
I fucking hate the mechanics.
The consensus was that Casey at best was a cold-hearted mother, and at worst, a hideous, despicable murderer. But what's curious is that although these opinions may be accurate, they came from a completely misguided notion, being that her behavior in the footage was entirely genuine. Casey was in all likelihood being completely fake this entire time. So you might be curious as to why a person would actually fake such a poised temperament, when it would be far more fitting to fake sadness and despair. We all have aspects to ourselves that are ungenuine to a certain degree. How we act at a
I fucking hate that enemy. I hate that enemy so much.
Close friends or family. The more comfortable the setting, the more we can be ourselves. Those educated on
Man, it's so fun.
would
Wow,
assert that
incredible.
She was rarely sad, rarely
Fun.
angry, but always this bubbly and
Good decision to
agreeable
make that
personality,
an enemy.
even when it didn't suit the situation. She was one of those people where something just seemed off. but you couldn't quite put your finger on it. The
I
evidence
can
put
put my
forward
finger on it.
suggests
Jesus
that
Christ.
Casey was fake in every single setting and with every single person all of the time. A trait that
Jesus.
might go unnoticed in everyday life.
Just like how you wouldn't want to go blind into a brush, you wouldn't want to go blind into a game. So let us do the face checking for you. Face check lets you actively compare stats and trends to give you that added edge against your opponents. Face check prepares
Shut
you
up, man.
Life,
I don't
yet
give
would
a shit.
clearly stand out when shown under the microscope of a criminal case study. Casey had become so accustomed to this fraudulent way of being that it even came as a natural behavior to her in the extraordinary setting we see here. And the assertion is that because Casey knew just how well she could fabricate this character, she thought she could use it to mask her anxiety and thus conceal guilty behavior. Casey, in all likelihood, had little...
I feel like at the same time, an elaborate emotion to maintain for such a long time is way harder. Yeah, it's more fitting, but it's way fucking harder.
To no regard
You
for
have to
her
be a
daughter.
fucking
That's
genius
not
at
even
it.
an argument anymore. But her true temperament here would likely be far more apprehensive due to the concern over her own welfare. Every time the detective insinuated an accusation, Casey kept the same tone, same demeanor, and same confident, lighthearted disposition. If you took her out of this interrogative setting and placed her in the mall with her friends, it would seem completely normal. She would be faking her personality in both environments, yet we are only able to realize it in one. This type of mindset is linked to sociopathy. Whatever the situation or circumstance, they need to have an advantage over you. So how do they do this? They lie, and also calculate how they are going to feel and react to a certain situation before it occurs. The entirety of her
Yeah, it looks
focus
like
was
Momo
on
or
making
whatever.
herself look good rather than being worried about the actual quality of her character. Casey, in a nutshell, was an inauthentic person, long before she ever gave birth to her ill-fated daughter, and her skill at deception alongside her manufactured personality is arguably the most terrifying part of this entire case. On December 11th, 2008, just under 5 months since she was reported missing, Kaylee's skeletal remains were discovered in a swamp less than a mile away from the Anthony household. She was wrapped in a Winnie the Pooh blanket and then placed in a canvas laundry bag. Duct tape was discovered around the nose and mouth area of the skull, and her death was ruled a homicide. Prosecutors in the case then announced they would be seeking the death penalty. There were a multitude of discoveries made in the lead-up to the trial, and many believed it to be an open and shut case due to the damnatory nature of the evidence. On the last day Kaylee was seen alive by anyone other than her mother, and the day many believed she was murdered, Casey Anthony made the following internet searches.
Shadows of fate, decided by destiny. Rack and ruin. Torn to oblivion.
At 7:54 p.m. that same evening, Casey and her boyfriend Tony were seen in a Blockbuster video store. Kaylee was nowhere in sight, and many presumed she was already dead and decomposing in Casey's trunk at this point. In the following weeks, Casey went out partying most nights. Just 3 days after her daughter's supposed abduction, she was captured in various photos participating in a hot body contest. 12 days after, she got a tattoo on her back saying Bella Vita, an Italian motto that translates beautiful life. She also made an entry in her diary around the same time that read, I completely trust my own judgment, and I knew that I made the right decision. This is the happiest that I have been in a very long time. I hope that my happiness will continue to grow. The trial commenced on May 24, 2011. The gist of the prosecution's argument was that Casey suffocated her daughter with duct tape and then placed her in a trunk for a few days before disposing of her body in the swamp. The motive for the murder was the primary focus during their opening
I
statement.
shall not yield. Illusion shattered. Delved into death. Yeah, I forfeit. I can
Cool. Now, I love now I'm able to play.
Obey. Shine down. Let me scribe. Eye for an eye.
Shall set you free.
Manifest. The power. Beg for mercy. Freeze to the core. I condemn you. There is no escape. Shadows of fear.
The truth shall set you free. Shall endure.
What do we have here?
I need Shinhye to handle her own. She's way too fucking weak to even live more than 5 minutes.
George Anthony specifically recalls that at 12:50 p.m. on June 16th of 2008, his daughter Casey left the residence on Hope Spring Drive with Kaylee Marie Anthony. Kaylee was wearing a shirt, jean shorts, sunglasses, and JoJo. Kissed his granddaughter.
Jesus.
In fact, no one, Casey, ever saw Kaylee alive.
Push nodding your head.
More speed.
The evidence in this case will establish that there is no other reason for the placement of multiple pieces of duct tape on this child's face, mouth, and nose other than the specific intent to end that child's life.
Shit,
No
this is so
one
bad.
but Casey Anthony had access to all the pieces of evidence in this case. The duct tape, the laundry bag, the blanket, the shorts, the shirt, the car. No one else lied
Rack
to
and
their
ruin.
friends,
More
their
speed.
family, to investigators. No one else benefited from the death of Kaylee Marie Anthony.
The odds are against us.
Casey's death allowed Casey Anthony to live and live. At least it was 35 minutes.
Although there was a lack of direct physical evidence tying the defendant to her daughter's death, the evidence the state actually had
For the
still
love of
seemed
fucking
overwhelming,
God.
and they understandably thought relying on the facts
Ooh,
alone
man, I
would
love it.
easily secure a conviction. The defense, on the other hand, were up
Shine
against
down.
it. So not only did they use charm and appeal to sway the jury's attention away from the evidence, they dropped an absolute bombshell in their opening statements to create as much doubt as humanly possible.
On behalf of the defense, I want to thank you for the sacrifices you've made in the jury service and coming here.
Oh God.
We know it's no easy task, and we intend, I'm sure, both sides, on getting you home as quickly as possible once you have all of the information that you need. Everyone wants to know what happened. How in the world can a mother wait 30 days before ever reporting her child missing? It's insane. It's bizarre. Something's just not right about that.
Yeah, no shit.
And the answer
how is he gonna
is
turn this?
actually relatively simple.
Oh.
She never was missing. Kaylee Anthony died on
What?
June 16, 2008, when she drowned in her family swimming.
Yeah, drowned.
The reason we're all here is because
Yeah. Duct tape over the mouth. And she's just protecting the soul.
the uniqueness
So
of the family that it happened.
she can't get possessed or something.
You will hear about ugly things.
Yeah. You don't.
I understand
You
it's
simply
illegal,
don't put
right?
fucking tape over
But-
someone's mouth.
Did, obviously, they had to
Usually-
fabricate this, and she did not fabricate this story. They had to
If you want
work
to kill
together
someone,
fabricate
you have to
this,
restrict
right?
their
They had-
escape
they had to
capabilities,
legitimately
like covering their
fabricate it.
mouth.
If it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. But still,
Things that people don't speak about.
I don't know.
Things that
I don't know
Casey-
about
If they can't scream, if they can't run away, you get the advantage.
On June 16,
It's
2008,
fucking remarkable. These adults think this is just a smart
Casey did what
counter
she'd
argument.
been doing all her life. Or for most of it, hiding her pain.
Oh,
Going into that
boo-hoo,
dark
dude.
corner and pretending that she does not live in the situation that she's living in. This
I'll just
family
go around. Fuck it.
must keep
Or not.
secrets
I guess I won't be going around.
And it all began when Casey was 8 years old and her father came into her room and began to touch her inappropriately. This child, at 8 years old, learned to lie immediately.
You're fucking
She could
kidding.
be 13 years old, have her father's penis in her mouth, and then go to school and play with the other kids as if nothing ever happened. That will help you understand.
I hope these people fucking.
That her child was dead.
Alright then, I'll teach
The
you.
trial would go on
Oh,
to
yes.
last 6 weeks, with the prosecution exposing the truly dark and deceptive nature of Casey's character. While the state relied on fact, the defense clung on to theory, and proposed every conspiracy under the sun in the hope they would create enough skepticism and confusion.
Wait, are you allowed to do this in a jail like this? Like to just throw some shit that could be argued in court later on, or fucking disproven in court later on?
One of the more noted details of the trial was the courtroom presence of Jose Baez. He had an exceptional ability of narrative control and storytelling, and his capacity to create a connection with the jury seemed far more adequate than that of the state. This was recognized and mentioned multiple times in the media, yet the overwhelming majority of those following the case were almost certain that it wouldn't be enough to save the defendant. Closing arguments were put forward on Sunday, the 3rd of July.
When you have a child, that child becomes your life. This case is about the clash between that responsibility and expectations that go with it and the life that Casey Anthony wanted to have. Casey meets Tony. Tony has this life. He's free. He's a club promoter. He's out there at night with the loud music and dancing, and it's a great, free life. So she has a choice. A life tethered to a child, or a life free.
Oh, now you're blaming the kid.
And
Cool.
as hard as it is
Fucking
for
jackass.
anyone, imagine
Oh no,
the judge.
It's not my fault for, letting someone fuck me and giving birth to a kid. No, that's not my fault.
The first was her dreams and the life she wanted. The second was her child.
Dude, he's busting.
We submit to you the evidence in this case shows
His eyelids look heavy as shit.
it's her child.
Here we are, at the end of our journey. And I have to tell you that I probably think you have more questions than answers. And if you recall, at opening statements, the final thing that I told you, at the end of the day, everything is said and done. The one question will never be answered. The key question in this case will never be answered. It can never be proven. And that is, how did Kaylee die? I'm going to start with my biggest one. I'm going to tell you right up front what I fear may happen in this case. I want to talk to you about it, explain why I feel it. This case deals with so much emotion. I know that there...
What are you doing on your phone?
I'm sorry, I left a gentleman alone in my apartment, so I'm tracking him to make sure he leaves.
You're tracking him?
Yeah, I track everybody.
That there were times where every single person...
Guys, I think his strategy is very recurrent. He always does a weird, almost like a mission of guilt or weird thing, just to fold some dog shit on top of it. He did it 3 times already, right?
Felt something.
Yeah, it's his one trick ending.
Liberation. What the law is that this case must not be decided for or against anyone because you feel sorry for anyone or are angry at anyone.
You'll notice that Mr. Baez blocks the jury's focus on this, while subtly concealing this. He presents the argument that the prosecution has purposely got the jury emotionally invested in the case, in the hope it would push them towards a guilty verdict. Yet in this exact same statement, he himself is getting them emotionally invested for the exact opposite reason. While refuting the prosecution's supposed attempt to entice anger, he subtly attempts to evoke empathy. Say what you want about this attorney and the ethics of his conduct, but what you are about to witness is expertly done, and what many believe to be what saved Casey Anthony's life.
What?
And that's because, obviously, we want you to base your verdict on the evidence, not on emotion. And it's my biggest fear because it's such a difficult thing for you to push aside. Kaylee Anthony is a beautiful, sweet, innocent child. I participate. doubt about it, and that is not disputed by anyone. But to parade her up here, to invoke your emotion, would be improper. It's improper under the law, and it's improper as to the rules of your deliberation.
Well, you just did that.
He went on for a great length of time talking about this beautiful child. Not on his evidence, not on the evidence that was presented before him. It was to set up the emotion for what was to come. And that is exactly how this case was presented. They didn't come right out the gate and show you the evidence. They gave you 2 weeks of testimony that was completely irrelevant and served only one purpose. And that was to paint Casey Anthony as a slut.
She is.
As a party girl. As
She
a
is.
girl who lies.
That's also true.
Has absolutely nothing to do with how Haley died. And this prosecution was geared in such a manner that it was deliberate, it was methodical,
Oh,
it was thorough.
No,
please.
Mr. Baez then focuses on the fact that the state has the burden of proof, and thereafter continues to intertwine the two essential features of his argument, empathy and doubt.
Don't speculate. Don't guess. It has to be proven to you beyond and to the exclusion of every reason and doubt. If you don't know what happened, it wasn't proven. We don't want you to tell us what you think happened. We want you to tell us what was proven. That's the difference here. Because you know what? We can go on and speculate all day long as to the different theories that we're posing, as to the different possibilities.
But that's all he has, though. Okay, John Reviews, couldn't she prove all the things like where she was, what she was doing, why she made those Google searches or whatever? Couldn't you? I don't get it though. They're going after one thing that can't be proven, but I think there's another thing that she has to prove.
Is it must be.
Oh, it's to avoid death penalty.
There are no mysteries to solve here. There should be no mystery before you.
Sir.
If you have questions,
Illusion shattered.
And that's as simple as it goes. Now, back to what I was saying with their initial setup, the way the case was presented, the first couple of weeks. You see, the strategy behind that is if you hate her, if you think she's a lying, no-good slut, then you'll start to look at this evidence in a different light. You start to, oh, wait a minute. Maybe I'm seeing something that's not there. And start to actually discriminate against her rather than give her the standard that is afforded to each and every citizen of our country. And that is the state
Jesus,
government
man.
come in here to prove their case beyond and to the exclusion of every reason. But you can get away with that if we can get a jury to hate her. You're here with
I'm starting to hate her less and hate you more.
This guy's selling them all kinds of bullshit. The whole thing.
And we're gonna ask you to render a verdict of not
Yo,
guilty.
dude, this guy has every possible kind of bullshit in his suitcase, and he's selling all of it right now, and they're buying it. And they're buying, dude.
On these charges.
They're addicted. Jesus Christ.
For the 9th Judicial Circuit in Fort Orange County, Florida. The state of Florida versus Casey Marie Anthony. As to case number 2008 CF 15606-0. As to the charge of first-degree murder, verdict as to count 1. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on the 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated child abuse, verdict as to count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty, so say we all, Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. As to the charge of aggravated manslaughter of a child, verdict is to count 3. We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, this 5th day of July, 2011, signed foreperson. And juror number 12 will be George Bradford. Yes, thank you.
Well, counsel and defendant approach the public.
Damn.
Now you've learned a lesson.
There is
Pays
no
that,
escape.
Appreciate the jury, those of you that have been objective and professional. We like it. Others, we will be talking to again. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the media, they don't learn though.
Illusion shattered.
Guys, the media doesn't learn or I hope they'll do better. It's the opposite.
Fucking
They learn how to do
bastards.
better. They don't know how to do bullshit, trash, in a better way. What a disaster.
There is no escape.
Wait, that was a fucking disaster.
You cunts.
Holy shit, dude.
I'm marking it later. I'm really tired, so I hate those wolves too. The bleeding mechanic, so autistic. I would only fight the boss once ever.
Time to scout.
What makes the case
Okay. Guys.
What a sorry.
I said
What?
live and I'll say it again, chat. Guys, these videos they're really, really good. They're really interesting, and you have to kind of pay attention to give it a chance. But they're kind of dark. Okay, so these are very bad people that did really, really bad things. So you know, viewer description is advised.
Shine down.
unique among others in the true crime genre?
Okay. Hold on.
What makes the case of Jennifer Pan unique among others in the true crime genre is the overabundance of raw footage freely available in the public domain. There is over 11 hours of material that not only recounts her